Portland tonight. Anderson leads the way, by the way, 18 points, 7 assists. Let's go back to February 26th at the Rose Garden and the Knicks. John Starks drive 2 of the 5 points in that quarter. They trailed by 15. But Larry Johnson really stepped it up, had 12 in the fourth quarter. He hit with 2:10 left. Knicks within 2. Then Ewing's 2 free throws tied it at 89, sending it to overtime and a minute 50 left. Ewing with the fadeaway and a tough shot. The Knicks leading by 4. Isaiah Ryder answered that with a strong drive, setting up a wild finish.
Ewing off the paint. Ewing unable to hit. Rebounded by Trent. 10 seconds remaining in overtime. They're not calling for time. They're down by 1. Anderson for Trent. He fumbled. He was stripped by Oakley. And here's Starks. All he has to do is run out the clock. And it's over. The Knicks have defeated the Trailblazers 96-95 in a thriller.
And you can see the joy on the sideline that night. The best road win of the year for the New York Knicks over the Portland Trailblazers. When we return, where are they now? Dick McGuire would appreciate the way Kenny Anderson is playing. John Andres joins him next.
MCS Cannon Knicks Game Night is brought to you by MCS Cannon. Let us show you the possibilities. And by Converse. Converse All-Star is back in ball.
This is a DHL Jumbo Box. If you want to send an international shipment of up to 55 pounds for a low flat rate, all you have to do is put it in this box and phone DHL. We'll pick it up and deliver it fast, door to door, from the U.S. to virtually anywhere else in the world. The DHL Jumbo Box, the easy way to ship large packages overseas.
Do you believe in love at first sight? Well, get ready to fall in love again. Surprise! It's the all-new 1997 Park Avenue. Elegance without excess. Comfortable. And so affordable. Park Avenue holds its own against any other luxury car in its class. It's waiting for your first date at your Buick dealers right now.
American Express, how can I help you?
Mr. Carter, I have you booked on the next flight to Taipei.
On our flight to New York.
If they were American Express traveler's checks, there'll be no problem.
That's no problem.
I'll have your medicine sent to your hotel right away.
Right now, you have just over 2,000 membership rewards points.
Maybe you'd like to speak to one of our financial advisors.
Financial advisor.
Talk to me about where you want to be when you retire.
I reserved 4 seats. Will there be anything else?
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more.
We look at it forwards. We look at it backwards. We offer a voice where there was none. The New York Times. Every day we reveal a world of perspective that others miss. It's all in how you look at it. The New York Times. Expect the world.
MCS Service and Canon Technology. Let us show you the possibilities.
Where Are They Now is brought to you by Katera, the caddy that zigs.
For 8 seasons in the 1950s, Dick McGuire made all the right decisions while handling the basketball. Unfortunately for him, his brother Al stole the attention by talking a good game.
Al did all the talking. That was great. I mean, I don't know if you ever did anything to do with him, Anthony. He's got a great way about him. He's a very good storyteller. He's not afraid to lie a little bit to make it better, and he's good.
Dick McGuire was a native New Yorker and grew up in front of his own audience all his life. When he went to St. John's, he became a star in the eyes of New York basketball fans, and he went from there and he went to the mountaintop in sports. Relatively speaking, they hardly even know him today, the people today. But the people that saw him play, especially when he and Cousy played together, you know, this is what basketball is all about. That's why you play the game.
However, that was just the way the younger McGuire preferred it. And even today, some 4 decades later, while brother Al's face is always out there, Dick prefers to shun the spotlight like he tried to do during his acceptance speech at the 1993 Hall of Fame ceremonies.
I'm not very comfortable up here. Most of my friends are, and they all told me the same thing. Speak into the mic. Don't mumble, and speak slowly.
Not surprisingly, after over 40 years in the Knick organization as a player, assistant coach, and now today as the director of scouting services, where he enjoys being around the game.
I've never really worked in my life. I've been nothing to do with, I've been with basketball, which I've been very, very lucky. My family's been very lucky. My kids are getting big. They all want my job, so I'm going to put it in my will so they get my job.
Dick the Knick keeps an eye on the college talent by providing the scouting staff with a list of players by position and how they stack up for the pros.
All these kids want to play. All these kids prove they can play. If you can play at the college level, you're a pretty good basketball player. Whether you ever make it at our level or you don't make it at our level, you're a pretty good basketball player. And so, when I get here, they all want to play. There's only one ball out there, and there's only X amount of minutes. I think the only time I was comfortable in my life was when I was playing. That's the only time I felt sure of what I'm doing. I just enjoyed it.
Where Are They Now has been brought to you by Katera, the caddy that zigs.
And that was Dick McGuire, the original tricky dribbler for the New York Knicks in the late 40s into the 50s. 530 games with the New York Knicks. We'll be back. Walt Clyde Frazier, one of the great point guards in New York Knicks history, as well as Dick McGuire, and what he's been up to on the road all over New York. Stay with us. Clyde coming up.
The world champion Yankees are back on MSG. The Bombers battle the Braves in spring training action from Tampa, Thursday night on MSG.
Messier with it. He scores! And a Brave with a short-handed goal. Gretzky moving in. He shoots, he scores! Peter Brindamore puts it in front. And Richter's made the save. Messier turns to the empty net. A hat trick for Mark Messier. How about that?
This is MSG Network.
For Ewing. Ewing with the spin. Ewing, yes!
Give him a tape for 720.
Now puts it for save. Another save. Richter is unbelievable.
3, 2, fade up. Go.
A no-hitter for Dwight
MSG Network. We're all over it. Step over the line and join the team. The Knicks Out of Bounds Fan Club, presented by Modell Sporting Goods. You'll receive all this terrific team merchandise and a quarterly newsletter. To join the Knicks Out of Bounds Fan Club, presented by Modell, please call 201-784-9600 or write to P.O. Box 418, Norwood, New Jersey, 07648-0418. The Knicks Out of Bounds Fan Club. Step over the line and join today.
Here it comes.
The old tax booklet.
Let's get busy.
I'm ready.
You got chewed up last year.
Here's a new twist.
He's going to file his taxes by phone.
What, no forms to mail?
I hate this.
We're finished.
Wait a minute. Here we go.
Telefile from the IRS. Watch for your booklet in the mail. It's free, it's fast, it works.
Good point. There's always a crossword puzzle.
Welcome back to Knicks Game Night here on the floor of the Garden. You know, WFAN radio analyst Walt Frazier is one concerned citizen, especially about the youth of America, and he gets involved. Last summer, Clyde began working with some kids at Sheepshead Bay and got involved in teaching life skills. What happened was Clyde went there, did a discussion, talked to the kids. Over 25 of them, age 15 and over, listened well. And what they did is they took advantage of an offer by Clyde's Foundation to participate in internship programs in the summer. He certainly inspired them.
Well, his inspiration was pretty big. It changed a way of life for me. Learned to work with professionals in the real world. You know, it was a big inspiration. He taught us many ways of life.
He had came over a lot of adversity that faced him, and he had taught me to strive for the best. And he is more or less a role model for me, like another father figure. And he has done a lot for me, and I really thank him.
Most people come to your school, they'll give you like a little flyer or a pamphlet, and then they'll just disappear. They don't actually talk to you. He gave us an opportunity to, you know, try for our dreams, and it was great.
More on Clyde, who continues to make an impression on the young people here in New York. Wherever he goes, he was a subject of the New York Post newspaper education contest, and an essay, the winner of which we're going to introduce you to in just a moment. They wrote essays about what they thought their favorite things about New York sports were, and Clyde Frazier was one of the topics, written about by an 8th grader by the name of Elijah Kendrick out of Middle School 113 in the Bronx. Tuesday at the American Sportscasters Association Hall of Fame dinner in New York. He won himself the award. First prize, Elijah Kendrick on Walt Clyde Frazier, one of his heroes. And he joins us here courtside. You told me before that this is your first appearance here at the Garden courtside. Tell me about your first impressions. Your first impressions of being here.
I'm very happy to be here, and it's just like a shock that I won, and my first Knicks game, and I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, tell us about what you wrote in the essay.
I wrote like when Walt Clyde Frazier is my favorite sportscaster, and I wrote about that he like make the game seem like so exciting, and that let's see. He make the game seem so exciting that he play by play, make it seem that you're at the game and stuff, and
that's what a radio guy's supposed to do, right? Make you feel like you're at the ball game. So you go home after school and you get ready, 7 o'clock, 7:30. You want to tune into Walt Clyde Frazier so he can describe what's happening in the game, right? Now, the dream you had about meeting Clyde Frazier, when did that start, and are you ready for that?
I've been had a dream like for about a year or two to meet him, because that's when I started listening on the radio, and
I have a feeling he might show up. Why, there he is. Clyde, this is Elijah Kendrick, who said that you make the game feel like you're at the game when you're talking on the radio. Now, there's a kid who's very astute, right?
Oh, how you doing, Elijah? Congratulations. Also, congratulations on your exquisite taste in wanting to be like the Clyde.
Clyde, we have one question. I believe he's been trying to work on a question for you. If you were going to ask Clyde something about his career, about what he does now, what would it be?
Let's see. I'd like to actually, like, how long have you been sportscaster?
About 8 years.
And that's not really, I don't really have that much to ask, but I just like to tell you that you're like one of my favorite sportscasters, and I think that you're like the best out of all the sportscasters, and I've been dying to meet you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Clyde, did you get a chance to read the essay? It was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'd like to. Also, I'm looking for an agent, you know.
Elijah Kendrick is being hired by Walt Clyde Frazier here. Pre-game on the Knicks pre-game report. So congratulations to Elijah Kendrick. Thanks for Walt joining us, of course. We'll be back with more. Bob Page from the MSG Sports Desk as we continue on the MCS Cannon Knicks game night.
A woman is feeling a little sluggish, so she goes to her personal trainer and she says, "Hey, I'm feeling a little sluggish. What do I do?" "Get a Katera," said the trainer. So they take a test drive and she puts it through a workout. Climbs a few hills, passes a truck, and stops on a mime. The more she drives it, the more she likes it. The more she likes it, the better she feels. "Katera does my heart good," said the woman. "I think I'll buy one." "Exercise your prerogative," said the trainer. Katera, it's the caddy that zigs.
Are you frustrated about your hair loss? Introducing Liquid Skin, a new, unique scientific hair transfer technology from Men's Hair Now. Liquid Skin adds back genetically matched hairs that duplicate growing hair through a dermal reconstruction of the hair loss area. Results so natural in appearance and touch, it's like a medical miracle. Call MHN's 24-hour hotline for information on all of our permanent hair replacement techniques. Men and women, call MHN now for a free evaluation.
Approximately 10, 9, give or take. Somewhere in the vicinity of 8. About 7, 6 or so. 5, plus or minus. 4, I think. 3, 2-ish. 1, liftoff. Any moment now. Here it comes. Still waiting.
This is a DHL Jumbo Box. If you want to send an international shipment of up to 55 pounds for a low flat rate, all you have to do is put it in this box and phone DHL. We'll pick it up and deliver it fast, door to door, from the U.S. to virtually anywhere else in the world. The DHL Jumbo Box, the easy way to ship large packages overseas.
MCS Service and Canon Technology. Let us show you the possibilities.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob Page back in our Sports Desk studios. Yes, in a titanic clash this afternoon at Boston Garden. The Nets overcame the Celtics, outscoring them, in fact, 23-10 in the fourth quarter and posting a 100-91 victory. As speculation continues around the league that the Celtics may be deliberately tanking games, especially in the late stages, in the hopes of having a better chance of getting the #1 pick overall in the upcoming lottery. Well, some people think that the best seat in the house belongs to this young man. We'll show you a couple people later on who would dispute that. Nets were down 4 at halftime. Kerry Kittles had 18 in the game. That triple gave him a 71-69 lead in the second half. One of Kittle's prime competitors for the Rookie of the Year award, Antoine Walker with 22. That feed from D. Brown. Boston up for ML Carr 75-73. Newark native Eric Williams had 29 for the Celtics, but Sam Cassell neutralized that with 30 points, 11 assists, another great game for him. And again, the Nets won it down the stretch. Now at Minnesota, the Heat staged a big fourth quarter comeback of their own, and they defeated the Timberwolves 113-108. So Miami now has a full 2-game lead over the Knicks in the race for the top spot in the NBA's Atlantic Division. These folks think they have the best seat in the house. Actually, Alonzo Mourning had the best seat in the house. Out the last 14 games, sitting on the bench with an injury, returned today, had 21 points, 8 rebounds. Third quarter, 78-75 Minnesota. Great pass from 2 New Yorkers, Tom Gugliotta to Stephon Marbury for the Jam. 27 points, 9 assists for Marbury. Ex-Knick Willie Anderson supplying offense off the bench, had 10 points for Miami. And again, they won at 113-108. Meanwhile, Del Harris and the Lakers jockeying for playoff position in the West. Orlando doing the same in the East at Orlando. Magic in transition. Brian Shaw to former Syracuse All-American Ronnie Cycli. 19 points was Orlando's lead. And then more Magic. Nick Anderson hits the 3. Magic went at 110-84, and the real Magic, Magic Johnson, just shaking his head in near disbelief over how badly the Lakers played in this game. Also,
in the second quarter,
the NBA scoreboard, Atlanta-Toronto, 90-79. Atlanta won the game by 11. Dikembe Mutombo had 13 points and 13 rebounds. San Antonio and the Clippers, that's a 9 o'clock start. And 2 others, Utah at Denver, Seattle at Vancouver, with Utah leading Seattle by 3.5 atop the NBA's Western Conference. Now stay tuned as the Knicks host the Portland Trailblazers next here on NSG.
MCS Cannon Knicks Game Night has been brought to you by MCS Cannon. Let us show you the possibilities. And by Brewery Fresh Budweiser, who remind you fresh beer tastes better.
Jab time!
Yeah, puts it up and in. Watch this stuff. He stuffed it. Y'all ready for this? Gets his own rebound and scores.
The teams, the games, the memories. This season, Budweiser and Starter are teaming up to create even more excitement.
That's a 3 to tie it. Nothing but the bottom of the net. It's good. Bang, he got it.
Bud Hoops. Get in the game wherever Bud and Bud Light are sold.
We win. We win. That's unbelievable.
What's going on?
It's the Learning Channel. They're hitting the air with Alien Invasion Week.
What?
They've uncovered everything. A whole week of documentaries.
He's not going to like this.
TLC knows too much.
You know what to do.
Alien Invasion Week, all week at 9 on TLC.
Mom, why do you always have to work? Can't we go to the beach?
Today, honey, I've got a meeting with a very important client.
Mom, when can I be a client?
You have 5 minutes to get ready to go to the beach, or I'm going without you.
In order to meet aggressive fiscal year-end sales objectives by April 1st, Nissan is diverting additional vehicle shipments to all Northeast ports of entry. To ensure these additional vehicles are sold by April 1st, Nissan will be offering direct to the customer special $1,000 cashback incentives on all new 1997 and 97.5 Altimas, 1997 Maximas, Sentras, trucks, Pathfinders, and Quests in stock. These additional vehicles are arriving at our ports daily, but must be sold and delivered prior to our April 1st fiscal year end to qualify for these customer cash incentives.
The following is a presentation of the Madison Square Garden Network. MSG, we're all over it. Well, folks, mark it down. The Knicks with 5 points in the third quarter. And it equals a franchise record since the 24-second clock came into the league.
The Knicks could have collapsed at this low point in their last meeting with the Blazers. They did not walk away from the challenge. Larry Johnson rose above it in crunch time and forced overtime. And in the extra session, the tide had turned, and Patrick Ewing led the charge, leaving P.J. Carlissimo helplessly to watch victory dissolve into defeat on a night that will not soon be forgotten.
10 seconds remaining in overtime. They're not calling for time. They're down by 1. Anderson for Trent. He fumbled. He was stripped by Oakley. And here's Starks. All he has to do is run out the clock. And it's over. The Knicks have defeated the Trailblazers 96-95 in a thriller.
From the world's greatest basketball stage, it's New York Knicks basketball on MSG. Tonight, the Portland Trailblazers, the youngest team and the hottest team in the NBA, visits the Garden, and the Knicks' relentless pursuit of Miami resumes. They are 2 games back now in the loss column, and overall, with 14 remaining, 7 at home and 7 away. The Portland Trailblazers very much in the thick of the Western Conference. Seeded 5th will play either the Lakers or the Houston Rockets when the playoffs begin. And hi, everybody. Mike Crispino with you here for Knicks basketball. John Starks is back off the bench after his suspension and missing the game, and he looks like he's ready to go, making amends and hopefully fixing the bridges that may have been broken down between him and Jeff Van Gundy. So the Knicks will have John Starks back. They will not have Buck Williams tonight. He's still out and injured, and they certainly miss his inspirational presence. Now with more in a building that has some electricity to it, here's Al Trotwig and John Andres.
All right, Mike, and good evening, everybody. I think we sense a little extra buzz here at Madison Square Garden, especially for a Sunday night game, and the Blazers come in with an enhanced reputation, obviously. Now, after last night's disappointing game, John, Jeff Van Gundy said a few things didn't happen. But one of the things he highlighted was the fact that the point guards, Chris Childs and Charlie Ward, didn't make some right decisions and didn't get the ball in the hands of the people who needed it at the right time.
Yes, the big guy, Patrick Ewing, got his points and did his thing, and Oakley played his usual tough game. But the guards just did not lift the team and do their thing, so to speak, and also the turnovers hurt. Childs and Ward combining for very low numbers, and the turnovers really hurt the Knicks as a team, as they gave up 21 points off turnovers. Charlie Ward very quiet last night himself. And you look at John Starks, however, John, now back tonight, and very happily looking back on that crazy game in Portland on February 26th. A strong drive to the basket gave the Knicks their 4th and 5th points of the 3rd quarter, believe that or not, and that was the conclusion of the scoring. And then later on, another strong drive for John, who put the ball on the floor and drove the Knicks hard with his spirit and his points. As you see, 10 points, 9 big assists, 4 rebounds, and 2 steals. The Knicks are certainly hoping to present a more consistent effort tonight than they did in Portland.
The night that the Knicks beat the Blazers on February 26th, Portland came to within 1 game of 500. Since then, and amidst all the rumors of P.J. Carlesimo's apparent firing, they have responded. Last night they lost to Washington, but prior to that they put together an 11-game winning streak. And John, when you look at the numbers, as P.J. Carlesimo explained to you, it's players getting healthy, it's a little bit schedule, and it's the team getting better overall.
Yes, they like the home schedule. P.J. pointed out 8 of the 12 games since the Knicks and the Trailblazers met were at home. And you can see the record is so dramatic. The points scored, a +8 for them, 8+ really. Their field goal percentage, the scoring margin is amazing. Hey, they've beaten Seattle and Utah during this run, Al, so it's more to it than just the home team advantage, you might say.
Even better than that, so far this season, they've beaten every Western Conference playoff team. This is a Blazers team that can play. They're going to give the Knicks a run tonight at Madison Square Garden. The lineup's coming up.
From Georgia Tech, number 7, Kenny Anderson. At guard at 6'5" from UNLV, number 34, Isaiah Ryder. At forward at 6'10" from Connecticut, number 3, Clifford Robinson. At forward at 6'10" from North Carolina, number 30, Rasheed Wallace. And at center at 7'3" from Lithuania, number 11, Arvydas Sabonis.
Last night in Milwaukee waited until things were a little too late to try and change things around. Their defense, as Jeff Van Gundy thought, improved along the way, but their offense left a lot to be desired. When the game was over, if you were frustrated as a fan, well, know this, the Knicks leaders were frustrated too. How about this quote from Charles Oakley? He said, "We've got to take another smack on the face for another game we should have won." That's 3 games this month, Dallas and New Jersey included, that we did that as a team. We say we're a championship caliber team, but you've got to put teams like this away. And last night, the Knicks did not put the Bucks away. So there is recognition of the problem.
3-7-3.
He wears a hefty brace on his right ankle, and he certainly has taken his bumps and bruises over the year. Very physically, he and Ewing collide on the tip. It belongs to the New York Knicks on a second chance. So our technicians at the Garden have a very keen sense of timing, and we are underway. On this performance between the Knicks and the Blazers a half an hour later than normal because of a late afternoon performance by the Ringling brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus. Houston from way out, just beating the 24-second clock, tipped up to himself by Clifford Robinson. The ex-UConn star has played on one team, and this is it. Kenny Anderson leads the team in scoring, flips it inside for Sabonis. He goes up strong and is fouled by Patrick Ewing. Physically, Ewing's got his work cut out for him here tonight as John Starks reclines on the floor and will provide everything that the Knicks needed last night. A change of energy, enthusiasm, a spark. They didn't have it last night in his absence, and when he comes into the game, hopefully for the Knicks, he'll provide that.
That's a most unusual position John is in. Usually when you see a player down like that, it's because of a bad back. We know nothing about a bad back from John. I wonder also, can he see the game? See what's going on?
Sabonis, a 79% free throw shooter, blows them both. So we're still scoreless here at the Garden. Kenny Anderson guards Chris Childs. Childs had a fair night in terms of performance, but the numbers of turnovers to assists was off in terms of ratio. Kenny Anderson up the floor. Oakley bothers him. Now gets back on his man, Clifford Robinson. Rasheed Wallace, he has put some amazing highlight dunks together this week. He has the ball stripped by Larry Johnson, who's been active defensively, and it's something that has been noted by everyone who's been watching the Knicks. Larry Johnson's defensive play. Childs.
Al, in 3 straight offensive situations for the Knicks, they've had exactly 2 exchanges of the ball. There's another look at John Starks. They've got to get into moving that ball around and getting everybody into the flow and not just make one pass and hoist up a shot.
Ewing goes right at Sabonis, and Sabonis puts his huge arms in the air and fouls Ewing. Now what John Starks is doing, he's laying on the floor. He cannot see the game, but he is watching it on Garden Vision. He's looking up at the scoreboard and watching it, so he's getting our perspective. You know what, John? He probably enjoyed watching MSG so much last night that he thought watching it tonight would be fun too. That's what he's watching.
Well, I don't know if his coach will be happy about that. It might be an example of indifference, although that's hard to believe with the highly spirited John Starks.
So off we go. We finally got some points in the game. Kenny Anderson streaks up the floor, and Chris Childs stays with him step for step. Another strip by the Knicks, saved by Robinson on the reverse. Beautiful shot. The Blazers in the midst of a 7-game road trip in which they'll play 5 games. That's a very grueling run. Ewing at Sabonis again for Childs. Now Houston guarded by Isaiah Ryder. Boy, Houston's in a chilly stretch. Ewing the follow. No foul. Lots of contact. It will be Blazers ball.
Well, another opinion on John Starks lying on the floor. Apparently he does that quite often, so it's not new from the standpoint of John when he's on the bench watching the game on Garden Vision.
Houston sets up on Isaiah Ryder, who's been putting up some very good numbers for this team. What a complicated story he is off the basketball floor, even on it at times. He hits from the baseline, and the Blazers lead it 4-2.
But 6'5", though, he's a very difficult matchup with his jumping ability as he shoots the ball.
Childs crossover through traffic. Ewing. And that is the first New York field goal. They're 1 for 5 in the game. Garden a little quiet here in the first few minutes. Ryder gets by Houston. Kenny Anderson from way out.
Looked like he had to strain to get that shot up, Al, didn't it?
Childs runs into a double team, almost stripped, and is stripped, but Kenny Anderson was on the sideline. So the Knicks will get it back.
Actually, Kenny Anderson is shooting his threes quite effectively this year while leading the team in scoring at 18 a game. He's made 38% of his 3-point shots. He's made 119 of them this season.
The Knicks and the Blazers have some very similar numbers. Both shoot 46% from the floor. The Bucks allow their opponents a slightly better field goal percentage. The Knicks #1 in the NBA in that category. Johnson, the fall away. Beautifully done by Larry Johnson. The Knicks take the 6-4 lead. One of the differences is that the Blazers average 99 a game, the Knicks 95, and give up 96, the Blazers do, while the Knicks only allow 92. An outside whistle. Chris Childs is called for the foul. 11 wins in a row. Maybe giving P.J. Carlissimo the cushion he needs. Last year, for the second year in a row, the Blazers won 44 games and were ousted in the first round in a 5-game decision by the Utah Jazz. Isaiah Ryder stepped out of bounds. Nick Ball with 8:27 to go in the first.
And this Blazers team is on their way to their 15th playoff experience, which is an NBA record. They've had great success over the years.
Childs looking for Ewing. It's trying to get something going offensively. Ewing is off, tipped up by Oakley. Sabonis knocks it down, and Kenny Anderson has the ball. Clifford Robinson. This team loves to shoot from the outside. Also, as I mentioned, they can score a lot of points, and in their 11-game winning streak, they averaged 104 per. Sabonis' pass is picked off. Ewing on the run. Here's Houston. He's got Ewing all alone. That's the way to do it.
Now you sound like a coach.
Sorry.
You got it.
It wasn't that it was the Knicks. It was the fundamentally right thing to do.
Right. That was a very exciting finish for the Knicks.
6-0 Knick run. Anderson from 15. Childs is open. He's off the back of the rim.
You see, when that shot goes up like that, rushed somewhat, everybody's flat-footed. Childs surprised his teammates, so it's low percentage as far as the chance to get offensive rebounds.
Isaiah Ryder shooting 57% from the floor. You see, he's got a lot going on when he's dribbling. He's very difficult to keep track of because he has a lot of herky-jerky movements, and he's going to spin on you and take it to the basket just like that. Drafted by the Timberwolves, and eventually they had to get him out of town. He was driving them crazy. Rasheed Wallace off the mark. Oakley grabs it. Under 7 to go in quarter number 1. Houston, hesitation dribble, up strong. Nicely done by Allen Houston, taking it to the basket.
Yes, he needs a game like that, or a game with moves like that, where he shows a forceful way of going about his offensive play.
Johnson on Robinson. And Robinson goes glass. Dick Pavetta says it counts, and he'll have a chance at a 3-point play. Timeout here at Madison Square Garden with 6:31 to go in the first quarter. Knicks 10, Blazers 8 with a chance at 9. And Wade Boggs has a hit. This one's high. It's gone.
You're watching MSG Network. We're all over it.
Biener Audi of Great Neck, New York's #1 Audi dealer for sales and customer service. Being the best means that every Audi customer can count on the best possible price, along with award-winning service. It also means at Biener Audi, you'll find one of the Northeast's largest selections of new and pre-owned Audis. It's no wonder since 1929, over 1 million satisfied customers have been saying that Biener is better. Biener Audi, Northern Boulevard, Great Neck, where buying from the best costs less.
The tire guy says, great deal, huh? Of course you'll need valve stems. They're extra.
Extra? What happened to my great deal?
It's here at Wholesale Tire. Out-the-door pricing. The lowest prices, no extras ever.
Tire salesman gives me one price, then says, want us to get rid of your old tires, that's extra. Extra? So what's the real price?
Out-the-door pricing. The guaranteed lowest prices and all these extras free.
Tire guy gives me a price, then says, you want them on your car? That's extra. Extra?
Tell him where to go.
WTC.
It's about cafe latte, not coffee and cream. It's about putting on a pair of jeans, not slacks. It's about having some fun with your luxury and some luxury with your fun. You see, once in a blue moon, something comes along that scrambles your preconceptions. And it's now about a mile west of the Meadowbrook on Sunrise Highway, Freeport. It's the caddy that zigs. Katera at Paul Conte's Katera Connection. 1-888-KATERA-0.
Remember, when you're having good times with good friends, to drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser.
Well, moments ago, Clifford Robinson put one off the glass, and will go to the line in a moment. He's already surpassed his efforts from last night when, for the first time in 549 games, John, going back to his rookie season, he put up the donut in 41 minutes. 0 for 7 and 0 for 3. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, as the Blazers lost to the Washington Bullets. It was tied in the final minute, but eventually George Mirasan put him away. But Clifford Robinson is already better here tonight.
He's their 4th leading scorer on the average this season, averaging over 15 points a game.
The leading scorers for this team are Kenny Anderson, then Isaiah Ryder, Rasheed Wallace, what an improved player he's been, and then Clifford Robinson, who shoots 69% from the free throw line. Not the best part of his game. It is 10-9, however, as he connects with 6.5 to go here at the world's most famous arena. Larry Johnson pops out. Charles Oakley gets open and hits Charles Oakley.
Nice set play by the Knicks. Starting on the left side of the court, then working the ball over to Oakley, who pops out for that somewhat short jump shot, although that had a good range, about an 18-footer.
Sabonis bangs into Ewing, creates his own open space, and draws the second Patrick Ewing foul of the game.
With the girth of this man, if he decides to go to the basket, whenever he decides to go, it's tough. He's so big. The last offensive sequence by the Knicks on the left side, good exchange, 3 men on the left. Oakley pops out on the right. Well executed play. The timing was just perfect.
With Buck Williams missing his 5th game with the injured finger in his right hand, Patrick Ewing has to be pulled by Jeff Van Gundy, and Herb Williams is the option.
This is a big loss now. The Knicks don't want Ewing on the bench at this point of the game, but Sabonis at 7'3" takes up so much space. Any kind of contact to him, I bet he hardly noticed that foul. He's so big. It wasn't a hard foul.
Earlier today, Orlando blew out the Lakers. The Nets beat Boston. Atlanta topped Toronto, and Miami won again, beating Minnesota to increase their lead to 2 games in the NBA's Atlantic Division. Larry Johnson for Oakley gets a return. Goes to the fall away. This one's an air ball after hitting one earlier. Herb Williams saves it and has to fire because the 24-second clock was about to expire. So 2 air balls by the Knicks in 1 offensive possession. John, it never looked as though Larry Johnson was comfortable to take that shot and then just had to let it go.
He owns that turnaround jump shot, but boy, when it's not falling, it looks like so much strain and it goes into it that it's a very difficult shot.
Robinson stops the dribble. Rasheed Wallace goes up hard on the glass to make it a 13-12 Blazers lead.
Now, there's a wise player using that backcourt as he did.
Every member of the starting 5 for Portland has scored. Here's Allen Houston. He's off from long range. His last 6 games, Allen Houston has been shooting 34%. Wallace tangled up nicely by Herb Williams. And up goes Chris Childs. Knicks up the tempo. Larry Johnson. And it will be Blazers ball. So Larry's missed his last 2.
Knicks have got to get a little more motion on the offense, more exchanges, better looks at the basket. Make the Blazers work. This is their 3rd game in 4 nights. So they're entitled to be a little tired, but the Knicks have to push him, get him that way.
Sabonis behind the back, and he has an outstanding passing game. John, you put a vote in for him to be best passing big man in the NBA, don't you?
Absolutely. Before the game, I was in their locker room talking to P.J. Carlissimo, and I was asking him how Sabonis was looking and how he was playing. He went right away to the back, behind the back pass. He said, "Watch, I'm gonna kid him about this now." And he went over to Sabonis and said, "You're gonna give us a behind the back pass tonight?" And Sabonis just kind of smirked at him. You know, it was light criticism, so to speak. And now you can tell what's going on at the Garden. John Starks entering the game, and the fans noticing.
So let's see. The Knicks missing a little offensive energy. Can he, and how quick will he inject it into the team? Blazers up by 2, 4.5 to go in the opening quarter. Starks, cross-court Childs. Now it's Johnson and Starks again. Knicks played around the perimeter. Starks, great pass, Larry Johnson, but he's tied up by Rasheed Wallace. What a look by John Starks. And a technical foul on Jeff Van Gundy, who screamed out for the foul that wasn't called. Well, the crowd is involved now.
There's the beautiful pass. It certainly appears that there was a bump in the direction of Larry Johnson.
Kenny Anderson rolls it off.
Now that's the look that Jeff Van Gundy had, I would think. Very difficult to tell from that angle exactly what happened as opposed to the angle underneath the basket.
So Blazers ball. And it's Isaiah Ryder. So much going into what he's about to do, and this time he travels. Turnover to the Knicks. The Knicks have missed their last 5 shots. They started the game by missing their first 4. Blazers have turned the ball over 4 times. Remember, this could be a mentally fatigued team. We'll see as the game moves on. Starks, gets the Oakley screen. Sees Oakley. And Oakley hits his second long-range jumper.
Gives Rasheed Wallace a little push as he comes up court.
And they're beginning to exchange words. Oakley and Rasheed Wallace.
Oh, he's right in his face. Oakley's right in his face.
Wallace did not respond. Oakley said a few things, and Wallace just looked away. Kenny Anderson out for Sabonis. Rockets one for Rasheed Wallace, who blew the dunk. Starks coming in on the Portland big guy. Right at him. Lost the handle. Back comes Portland. Isaiah Ryder pulls up for 3. Big turnaround. And Isaiah Ryder hits the 3-pointer, and Portland leads it 17-14.
Well, John Starks was unable to shrink Sabonis on that play, that's for sure.
And Chris Childs travels. Second Knick turnover, which brings us to a timeout with 2:54 to go. The Blazers up by 3.
Well, slow start offensively for both teams who played last night in different cities. John Starks back in the scene. No, John hitting Charles Oakley a couple of times. Now he hits him with a jump shot. Charles gets into a little pushing session there with Rasheed Wallace, second-year player. And then when they get down court even further, Charles is staring at him a bit. Looks like he's actually having some fun with Wallace.
Didn't look like Wallace was having fun with him.
Oh, it doesn't. Wallace is having fun with the NBA, though. One of the league's top shooters, 3rd in the NBA right now.
Did you see some of the dunks he's put down this week? Follow-up of teammates' misses? Man, they were unbelievable. .239 to go. Blazers over the Knicks, and Chris Dudley has checked into the game. Herb Williams with hands working all over him. And at the expiration of the 24-second clock, Isaiah Ryder hit another long-range bomb, but it just did come after the buzzer sounded. So it'll be Knick ball. It's Oakley, Johnson, Williams, Starks, and Childs.
Patrick Ewing on the bench with 2 fouls. That's why Herb Williams has gotten an early appearance.
Larry Johnson hits the 3. And that ties the game at 17. Coming up on 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Little pressure as Herb Williams joins Chris Childs to slow Kenny Anderson's progress up the floor. Ryder loses John Starks, but also loses the ball, so the Knicks will get it.
It was one of those positions where he looked like as he got to the basket, he was going to go up and fake a shot even though he didn't have the ball.
He's too fast for his own good there.
He lost the ball, but he kept with the move.
Starks for three. Herb Williams with the follow. Larry Johnson thought about another three. Shovels it for Herb Williams. Tipped up in the air, saved by Herb Williams. Oakley spins to the basket. And it's grabbed by Rasheed Wallace.
I think Oakley assumes foul will come his way when he drives the ball like that, but he was played tough, but he didn't get the foul he was looking for.
Kenny Anderson from way out. Dick Bavetta calls. There's a double foul as things got a little physical inside. Charles Oakley involved. No surprise there.
Number 5 has been charged to Charles Oakley of New York, his first personal. First Dudley of Portland, his first personal.
Dudley is the other perpetrator.
Under the basket. See, there was some, looked like a box out, really. Didn't seem excessive.
The Knicks win it. The fans rallying to the Knicks cause they're off the tip. Starks goes for it again. This time he's got it.
Well, that's what the Knicks missed last night in Milwaukee, Al, as we witnessed. That perimeter game that John Starks brings.
Chris Dudley fires one into Robinson. 10 on the 24. Kenny Anderson again. He's not hitting from out there, but continues to go with it. Now Childs as the Knicks go quick again up the floor. Childs back for Larry Johnson. I don't know if it was intended for Larry Johnson.
I think he had Oakley in mind, but just as he flipped it, Larry Johnson appeared. He kept running.
Anderson once again meets sort of the double team, trying to force him to the side of the floor. Now Clifford Robinson, Rasheed Wallace, and back to Robinson. 20 to go in the quarter. Out of bounds, Nick Ball. Off the fingertips of Isaiah Ryder. So the Knicks have 18.6 and can play for one. Knicks closing out the quarter with an 8-0 run. Childs stopped by a double team. Somebody's open. It's Oakley. And he goes for a three. Followed by Starks, but the buzzer sounds. So the Knicks put a stretch together. No surprise. John Starks involved. And it puts them in front 22-17.
In order to meet aggressive fiscal year-end sales objectives by April 1st, Nissan is diverting additional vehicle shipments to all Northeast ports of entry. To ensure these additional vehicles are sold by April 1st, Nissan will be offering direct to the customer special $1,000 cashback incentives on all new 1997 and 97.5 Altimas, 1997 Maximas, Sentras, trucks, Pathfinders, and Quests in stock. These additional vehicles are arriving at our ports daily, but must be sold and delivered prior to our April 1st fiscal year-end to qualify for these customer cash incentives.
Mom, why do you always have to work? Can't we go to the beach?
Today, honey, I've got a meeting with a very important client.
Mom, when can I be a client?
You have 5 minutes to get ready to go to the beach, or I'm going without you.
You have the perfect shot, the perfect moment, but the flash doesn't go off. Next time, use Energizer brand batteries from Nobody Beats the Wiz.
American Express, how can I help you?
Mr. Carter, I have you booked on the next flight to Taipei.
Confirmed on that flight to New York.
If they were American Express traveler's checks, there'll be no problem.
That's no problem.
I'll have your medicine sent to your hotel right away.
Right now, you have just over 2,000 membership rewards points.
Maybe you'd like to speak to one of our financial advisors.
Financial advisors?
Talk to me about where you want to be when you retire.
I reserved 4 seats. Would there be anything else?
Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, American Express helps you do more. By Foot Locker, where it all begins. And by Toyota. I love what you do for me. Toyota.
Mike Crispino back at the Garden with the Giants head coach, Jim Fossil. You've been awfully quiet in the free agent market. When are we going to see a big move by the Giants?
Well, I don't know if we have that much money right now to move in the free agent market. And I think you're finding more and more teams are staying with the team they have. And that's probably what we're going to end up with this year.
Maybe after the June 1st deadline, you might make a move, right? What about the offense here now? You've done it before, Phoenix, Denver, Raiders. You've fixed them. How are you going to fix this offense?
Well, it's always a challenge, but hopefully it starts with getting Dave Brown to play better. Dave's got to play better for us, and we got to get some big plays out of our receivers and our running backs. And if you can get those guys to make plays, get the line to protect Dave, I think Dave can play better.
Now, you talked about in your press conference when you arrived about tempo, picking it up with the Giants offense. Is the personnel there to do that?
I think so. I really do. A lot of it has to do with simplifying the system so they can break the huddle, get to the line, get the ball snapped, and play football. And if they do that, then I think we'll play a lot quicker.
All right, that's Jim Fossil, the Giants head coach. He's thinking about the Giants, but he's watching the Knicks tonight. Al, back to you.
Okay, Mike, and of course, good luck to Mr. Fossil. Gary Trent has checked into the game for the Portland Trailblazers, and the Knicks just didn't recognize the substitution, I guess, because he went in for an easy dunk. And now Gary Trent pulls down the rebound at the other end of the floor. So we're underway in the second quarter. The Knicks, John, this is almost hard to believe, but between out-rebounding Portland and the turnovers Portland committed, the Knicks had 25 shots taken in the first quarter. Portland only got 13. Here's Ramil Robinson coming up short. Oakley's got it. Ahead for Childs. He crosses over on Robinson. Is fouled. The shot was blocked by Dudley. And it will be 2 free throws for Chris Childs. Ramil Robinson is called for the foul.
Chris moving again quite well. He showed that energy last night in Milwaukee, although he didn't get enough done as far as he's concerned and the Knicks are concerned. But he's pushing the team, pushing the ball well up court.
Childs perfect. Patrick Ewing returns. He left the game about halfway through the first quarter after getting 2 quick fouls that resulted in Jeff Van Gundy getting a technical foul. Herb Williams hears it from the fans, who always admire what he does. Herb played 7 minutes, grabbed 3 rebounds. Childs with the appropriate backspin on the free throw gets the good roll. Isaiah Ryder for Clifford Robinson, and he got around Larry Johnson and past Charles Oakley. It's 2 easy inside baskets for Portland in the opening minute of this second quarter.
Now Ewing playing with 2 fouls, fortunate to be matched up with Chris Dudley, who is not an offensive threat.
Starks gets free. It's a 3. Out comes Ramil Robinson. It's a 2-on-1 with Starks getting back, and they're going to call John Starks for the foul, hitting Ramil Robinson from behind. Charlie Ward enters the game. Offensively, Childs and Ward had pretty quiet games last night. Ward was 1 for 5 from the floor.
Charles Oakley speaking out loud to Starks, telling him he's by himself.
Isaiah Ryder. When he gets to the open floor like that and the defender hears you're by yourself, it's not always good news.
Ryder and Starks, nice genial conversation coming back up court.
Ewing over Dudley. So he comes off the bench to make his presence immediately felt. Patrick Ewing leading the Knicks with 8. Larry Johnson has 7. Meanwhile, Clifford Robinson and Isaiah Ryder each have 7 for the Blazers. The Blazers with a long tradition of winning. In the last 20 years, as Dudley commits the offensive foul, they are the 3rd winningest team in the NBA. John Wallace enters. The Celtics and the Lakers, and then the Portland Trailblazers.
Boy, how about Dudley for a determined move to the basket, as in straight to the basket. That was an offensive foul, no question about that.
Knicks by 3 as Charlie Ward will now run the show. Starks gets the screen. Jumping out is Trent. He's been very busy since coming into the game, and he misses the layup. John Wallace came back to save it. Starks, no look. Another pass. Ewing. Clifford Robinson commits the foul. And showing a little sportsmanship. Boy, he got way up. Looked like he was going to come down on top of Patrick Ewing.
Yes, it looked like Patrick was being climbed upon, and as you said, Al, it was good feeling, at least at the end of that very physical play. Starks with the nice look. Charles Oakley always gives the ball up, and that fake gets Robinson way up in the air.
Gary Trent doing a little bit of a lot here in the second quarter. You may remember Gary Trent was the player who had the ball stripped in overtime that allowed the Knicks to hold on to that 1-point win on the 26th of February. Ramil Robinson with the basketball. Ironic that he's on a P.J. Carlissimo team because it was Ramil Robinson's free throws that beat the Seton Hall Pirates, coached by Carlissimo, for the NCAA title.
Yes, 7 years ago. Very dramatic moment in history.
9 minutes to go in the first half. Starks to Ewing. Couldn't get it through. Out of bounds. Deflected or not? Yes, it will be Portland ball. PJ surveying the scene, and it'll be Clifford Robinson inbounding. Ryder finally pulls it in. Nothing about Isaiah Ryder happens slowly. Everything is a quick move, and there's Clifford Robinson for a three-pointer that gives the Blazers a tie with the Knicks, 28 all.
Clifford Robinson, a free agent to be at the end of this season, and that will be interesting. This guy has a lot of talent.
Ewing, a fall away. Dudley was right in his face. Oh, John Wallace never gave up. A hustle hoop for Wallace, and the Knicks are back in front.
Boy, the Knicks really need some rebounding like that against this very big team. The third best rebounding team in the NBA, the Portland Trailblazers.
Knicks come up with a team steal. Charlie Ward eludes Chris Dudley. Looks for Starks, who's quickly picked up by Ryder. Now it's John Wallace, and the Knicks will give him some room. Childs, Oakley, and now Ewing, 10 on the 24. Ewing with the fake, Ewing with the put up, and it's good. And he will go to the line for an attempt at a three-point play. A very patient Knick team on that possession.
John Starks leaves the floor with a nice couple of words from his coach. As Allen Houston comes back in, here's Ewing working his way inside very patiently, and he gets it done and draws the foul. Another look at it from under the hoop. Gets Dudley to leave the floor. It's so hard when you're a defensive player not to go for those fakes. Most players leave the floor.
Ewing's got 12 first half points. Make it 13. Dudley has to leave because he's called for his third foul, so Sabonis is back. Starks left, making 1 of 3 shots for 3 points. And the Knicks are up by 5. They've scored 5 straight points. And Clifford Robinson is pushed on the perimeter. John Wallace is called for the foul. Both Wallace and McCarty had significant time in last night's game. Jeff Van Gundy showed a lot of faith in them. Actually played significant stretches with both the rookies on the floor at the same time. Ramil Robinson bothered by Ewing. Bothered a lot by Ewing. That was an air ball that hits the underside of the support for the basket. So with 7.5 to go here in the first half, the Knicks will try to put a bigger cushion between them and Portland. Ward goes underneath Arvydas Sabonis. John, I thought he was going to dribble under his legs. Ewing fronts the Lithuanian. Saved by Houston, who's back in for New York. John Wallace looks for Oakley. Beautiful assist, and Oakley's going to go to the line. How about these minutes for John Wallace? He's having sort of a John Starks effect on this game.
Yes. Goes into some heavy traffic here and has the ability to get the ball to Oakley, who makes a very tough shot. The Knicks completing now a 7-0 run.
Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Page. Recently fired NBA head coaches Bob Hill and Brian Hill talk about lack of security in their profession right here on the next Page One.
It's March Markdown Month at PC Richard & Son. Save money on all home appliances, electronics, and computers. Save an extra $30 off select washers and dryers, $50 off select refrigerators, $35 off select audio equipment, and $200 off select big screen TVs. Enter to win a new 1997 Hyundai Tiburon. Enter free at any PC Richard Superstore today. Hundreds of coupon savings, in-store markdowns, and one-day sale specials during March Markdown Month at PC Richard & Son. Be there.
The art of brewing is back on Long Island at the Longshore Brewery in Garden City. The Longshore Brewery is Long Island's largest microbrewery and the newest, hottest spot on the island.
This is the place I want to be.
Watch the brewing and bottling process. Enjoy one of our own homebrewed beers. Dine in our fabulous restaurant. Or party all night long to live music or DJs. It's all here at the Longshore Brewery, Stewart Avenue, Garden City. Experience the difference.
The East Hills Showroom.
We're gonna get you the best automotive deal. It's East Hills. East Hills. Who's gonna get you in the right set of wheels? It's East Hills. East Hills. So for a Chevrolet or Geo, come together to try. 'Cause we don't wanna sell you, we'll just help you buy. It's East Hills. East Hills.
Now lease a loaded four-wheel drive Blazer, just $289 a month.
At East Hills.
We have a winner, Al. Tonight's winner in the MSG Network New York Post Pick Your Favorite Knicks sweepstakes is David Glickhouse of Sleepy Hollow, New York. David just won 2 tickets to a future Knicks game for picking Charles Oakley as his favorite power forward in Knicks history.
Hey, John, if you were going to enter the MSG New York Post Pick Your Favorite Knicks sweepstakes, which you can, of course, because you're part of the employment structure here at Madison Square Garden, who would be your favorite Knick of all time?
I thought you were going to ask me who my favorite 12th man would be.
No. No.
Favorite Knick of all time?
You can think about it for a moment if you need it, as Oakley hits the free throw, completing the three-point play.
Kenny Sears. Kenny Vandaway. Sweetwater. I'm working my way up, Al.
Okay. Arvydas Sabonis gets free.
Talk about being unstoppable when a man that size gets so close to the basket and gets the ball.
I didn't hear an answer from you, John.
I'm thinking.
Okay. Oakley again, as Wallace just gives him the shot. Now, Charles Oakley is having an offensive impact in a big way in this first half, and Rasheed Wallace is going to learn in a hurry, if he hasn't already, that he can't just forget about Charles Oakley when playing defense. Kenny Anderson. Beautiful dribbling, but the Knicks are better than it. Houston up the floor. He's got Oakley on the run. Flips it over his shoulder and out of bounds. He went a little bit beyond the fundamental pass, but there was Charles Oakley in a position to do more damage to Portland. And Jeff Van Gundy's expression said it all right there. Rasheed Wallace. Backing in and creating space for Isaiah Ryder. Back for Wallace. Pulled down by Charlie Ward, who goes way up above the rim. Under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Charlie Ward couldn't finish the drive.
A little slippery back tap by Sabonis ignites a break. But Kenny Anderson misreads Rasheed Wallace's presence.
I think misread is appropriate. That's the 11th turnover committed by Portland.
You know, Rasheed Wallace looks very low-key, doesn't he, Alan? I'm wondering if it traces back to that collision he had with Charles Oakley.
Allen Houston hits his first outside jump shot. And you always wonder if that's the beginning of a good stretch for him in any given game. Off that shot, the Knicks have built up a 10-point lead, and P.J. Carlissimo wants to slow down New York and does so by calling a timeout.
Oh, yes, right. Yeah, he's kind of just going through the motions out there. Not showing his talent as Ewing shows his. That side jump shot. Knicks are isolating Ewing with Sabonis and letting him select his choice. Does he drive? Does he shoot the jumper? If Sabonis comes out, Ewing will beat him off the dribble.
Sabonis can do it from out there. He may not look very graceful, but he is very successful from shooting from three-point land. He's taken now 116 on the season, made 41 for 35%. That's darn good for a guy his size. And we've got a foul. Kenny Anderson commits the foul. That's his first.
Whenever people talk about Sabonis in this country, the response is, oh, what a shame. What a shame he didn't start here. The European audience saw Sabonis through many years of great basketball.
Won 3 Olympic medals playing for Lithuania. And you know what's ironic, especially because this team has an 18-year-old by the name of Jermaine O'Neal on it. He was drafted in 1985 by the Atlanta Hawks, but the pick was voided because he was under the age of 21. And now he's on a team in the NBA, and life has changed, where an 18-year-old can sign and play. And of course, if that rule was in existence, then he probably would be in his, what, 13th, 14th year of an NBA career right now.
Yes, and one of the greats, most likely.
And Jermaine O'Neal, who's been bothered by a virus, may or may not play tonight, getting limited exposure on the season, became the youngest by a couple of months to ever appear on an NBA roster, just edging Kobe Bryant for that honor. Or distinction, I guess, is more appropriate.
Kevin Garnett all of a sudden is looking old. You know?
It's unbelievable, right?
How can this be? Last year he came out of high school.
Kevin as a veteran in the NBA.
There's O'Neal.
Kenny Anderson looked for Sabonis. And John Wallace helped break up that pass.
On the inside, man.
Robinson for Sabonis. He was up there. The pass was close, but he couldn't make it happen. What a bounce pass from Charlie Ward to John Wallace. In perfect stride, he lays it in, and the Knicks are up by 13.
Well, this is one of John Wallace's breakout nights, that's for sure.
Wallace has 4 with 2 rebounds.
Oh, that's the move reminiscent of Nate Tiny Archibald. It's all Kenny Anderson on that move, and what a beauty it was as he penetrated and was able to somehow find the space.
Only Anderson's 3rd and 4th points of this first half. Knick lead 11, 3:45 to go. Houston. And now Ewing, 10 on the 24. Ewing against Gary Trent, and
Trent is trying to play one official against the other on that call.
It's illegal defense, by the way.
There's Kenny Anderson a moment ago going left, going right, and going up onto the right side of the basket and shooting it from the left side. That's a very special ability.
And the Knicks throw it away. Over and back on the inbound. You're dead on with that Tiny Archibald thing. That's right. I mean,
just slice the defense apart. Perfect. Know? And you think if you're sitting under the basket and you're watching that coming at you, you say, what's he doing? You know, he's going to get clobbered. All of a sudden, he gets the poop.
Anderson with the basketball for the cutting Sabonis, and he is fouled. Allen Houston's 3rd personal foul. That is not what Allen Houston wanted. And now John Starks is up quickly. Houston with 4 points, 1 long range, 1 drive to the basket. And Chris Childs will return as well, replacing Charlie Ward. Ward scored 2, grabbed 2 rebounds, and added an assist. Actually 3 assists, pardon me.
Sabonis comes off a 20-point game last night. 20 points, 9 rebounds in only 23 minutes against the Washington Bullets. A 4-point win for them over the Blazers.
Stacey Augmon, number 2, acquired in a trade this season with Detroit, has checked in for Portland. Larry Johnson, he's been taking those fallaways here tonight at the Garden.
Well, when he's feeling it, it is an impossible shot to block or even bother. The huge strides he takes going into that shot, and then the push-off step just separates him from the defense.
Knicks 9 for 13 shooting in this second quarter. Stacey Augmon way out of control. Wallace eludes one defender but can't beat Kenny Anderson. His speed is startling. And he goes all the way to the basket, lays it off Sabonis, who goes finger roll. And it puts the Blazers within 9, 48-39.
See, Sabonis, even at 7'3", didn't go out of his way to try and dunk that ball. He just gracefully laid it in.
You can really see how the defense breaks down when you have a point guard who can penetrate like Kenny Anderson does. Guys break off of the guys that they're defending, and before you know it, you've got one or two guys open. There's Ewing. Took that flat-footed, a little different from him.
Yes, he was thinking drive. He wanted the drive, but then he fell back to the jumper. A little off balance, but good shooter that he is. He had the touch.
The Blazers have won 11 of 12. Inside they go to Gary Trent, and he is fouled. We've seen John Wallace get called for his third personal foul, and Jeff Van Gundy already had Charles Oakley ticketed to return to this game. Well, now we have a chance to tell you some of the things that aren't right with the Portland Trailblazers. Gary Trent is at the line. Earlier this season, Gary Trent was accused by his girlfriend, who was pregnant, of kicking her in the ribs and punching her in the face. He pled to a lesser degree and was pleading guilty to harassment. On the 12th of March, he was put on probation for a year and then also required to attend an anger management course. 3 days later, he was involved in a barroom incident and accused of hitting a guy over the head with a pool cue. That is still being investigated, and he could be in some further trouble. But you put that together with Isaiah Ryder, and you've got a lot for P.J. Carlissimo to deal with. A lot of hustle by Charles Oakley with 1:33 to go.
Well, the Knicks have come out with a very solid first half here as P.J. Carlissimo works the sidelines. But I must say, Al, very quietly, P.J. with a very forceful coaching style, certainly in his college days. And it looks like he's brought it back a bit as far as the emotional level that he brings to games.
It's a very fine line you cross when someone who you want to defend because you're in the inner circle with them, the old Pat Riley, it's us versus them mentality, and they do something that is so over the line morally, as in the case of Gary Trent and what he allegedly did. So you have to be very careful how you defend him not to offend anyone, and you have to be careful what you say about him not to push him the wrong way as far as the team is concerned. It's very difficult.
Well, the other thing too is making judgments of news, of wire stories too. I mean,
oh, but I'm sure he's not, John. I'm sure he knows more than the wire stories, right?
We witnessed with the NFL several months ago with the Dallas Cowboys stories. I mean, and the public, you know, makes judgments based on what they read, what they hear, and then the investigation goes on, and maybe it wasn't quite as it was reported earlier, but then people have already made their judgments. It's just very hard.
Gary Trent at the line, 2 shots.
Trent back to the line. His second year out of Ohio University. Misses there. The Knicks lead it 50-39. We have 1:22 to go. A violation against the Blazers. And the Knicks will get it out of bounds.
The Blazers are playing at several degrees down emotionally, as we saw them play out in Portland. Certainly, even though the Knicks won that game, they were playing with much more energy. And this is the road game here. The difficulty of playing on the road.
Ewing from Oakley, and Larry Johnson was in a perfect position. I mean, you could almost say Ewing set it up that way, the way it went off the glass, but even he couldn't put it down. Nice move by Clifford Robinson. And he makes the Knicks pay with another jumper from the baseline. Under a minute to go now. The Knicks lead is 9. Childs on the deliberate dribble. Now Starks, quick release. What a beautiful sound that is to a jump shooter, and John Starks puts the Knicks up 11. Anderson whirling on Childs, lost on the screen. Kenny Anderson using the Gary Trent pick perfectly.
We know there's a bit of a cheer going on here at the Garden now with the many fans of Kenny Anderson that are here tonight. This is his neighborhood.
Oakley for three. He and Gary Trent are now exchanging looks and a couple of words. Charles Oakley very, very into the competitive aspect and the trash talking and looks that go with it here in the first half. Kenny Anderson again showing that quick first step. Rasheed Wallace from way out in the corner, but he had a foot on the line, said Dick Pavetta. 3.6 for the Knicks. Starks lets it go, and it's off at the buzzer. He got way up the floor in pretty good position for the shot. So John Starks is back, and the Knicks are up, but only by 7. Coming up, the Tri-State Jeep and Eagle halftime report. There's only one Jeep, and it's only at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer. The Knicks leading by as many as 13, getting 17 from Patrick Ewing, have a 52-45 halftime lead. Back in a moment on MSG. Go to Ewing. He fronts Sabonis, goes right at the basket and drops it in. Patrick Ewing with 21, make it 19 points.
Nicely done by Ewing. He made a difficult shot look easy. Anderson unable to get rid of Childs off that pick by Robinson.
Sabonis looking for his second 3 of the game. Not with that shot. Up the floor is Ewing. But Childs didn't see him in time.
Ewing instinctively knows he can beat Sabonis down court.
Ewing again right at the basket. Beautifully done by Patrick Ewing. From inside and then from way outside.
Well, that was gorgeous by Ewing. A soft running hook shot. No matter how big Sabonis is, when Ewing uses the hook shot, nobody can block that.
Anderson keeping Chris Childs busy. And that one will drop, and it counts.
You notice how he walked away before the ball went in the basket? It was still figuring its way into the hoop there. And Kenny Anderson had his back to the ball, walking to the foul line as he knew it was going. Here's a look at Anderson, the short shot. Prior to that, Ewing taking Sabonis one-on-one with that soft hook shot. Beautifully done.
Back live, Kenny completes the 3-point play, so the Knicks lead is 4 with 8:20 to go in the third quarter. Knicks trail Miami in the Atlantic Division by 2 games. That's one mission down the stretch here. The other is to build up the confidence level so that if something happens in the playoffs negatively, they got a little bit of a confidence cushion, something to fall back on in the last few weeks of the season. Rasheed Wallace's outside jumper falls off the rim. Childs goes right at Anderson, spins him around, pulls up for the jumper. And nobody in white underneath the basket. That's one of the gambles when you take that quick shot. Sabonis to Wallace. Up huge, and he's fouled. Oh, the Garden's buzzing after that dunk.
That's what happens with rushed shots. The offense and ultimately the defense is off balance. Childs pushed up the jumper. Everything was off balance, and the Trailblazers end up with that slam dunk by Wallace.
John, I mentioned the run he's had with dunks like this. Look at this. At Milwaukee, when they beat the Bucks by 19, Rasheed Wallace played almost the entire game above the rim. These were thunderous dunks, not seen by the electronic wizard. And so when I brought it up, he did what an electronic wizard would do. He tracked them down so he could see them for himself, and you could see them again. Timeout here at the Garden. Knicks up by only 2. His alma mater, the Tar Heels, on the way to the Final Four for the 11th time in Dean Smith's untoppable career, joining Kentucky, Arizona, and Minnesota. The Knicks up by only 2. They go to Ewing. He checks the shot clock. It's at 6. He again goes right at Sabonis and rolls in another one, a left-handed hook.
He taunts us.
A lefty hook shot.
A lefty and a righty in the same game from Patrick Ewing. What a treat. Not for the opponents, though.
Ewing at 23 points, having a big, big game. Wallace spins on Oakley, who fouls him, and he misses the dunk. Now the Knicks have 6 points in this quarter, and Ewing's got them all. Last night, Patrick Ewing came so close to carrying the Knicks all by himself to victory. They fell by 1 point to Milwaukee. He was really the only consistent offensive option they had all game.
Entirely different game for Ewing, though, too, Al, being guarded by a much smaller player.
And you know, John, when this game started and you looked the way Sabonis was muscling inside, Patrick gets the 2 quick fouls, you think maybe he's not going to have that kind of a game. And then here we are, not even at the halfway point of the third quarter, and he's got his game done already. He's got 23 points.
He's playing with fire tonight.
Ewing's not running that well, though. He's sort of shuffling his feet a couple of times that I've looked at him. Maybe it's my imagination, something we'll keep an eye on. Ewing gets the pass from Allen Houston. He wanted to get it into Larry Johnson, who's overplayed by Clifford Robinson, and he picks off the ball. The steal gets the ball into the hands of Kenny Anderson. The Knick lead is 3. Robinson stopped by Ewing. Rasheed Wallace. Sabonis bothered by Ewing. They both collide.
Well, Sabonis is holding off Ewing as he went for that loose ball and is called for the foul.
Well, now the Blazers have a big-time problem. They've got 4 fouls on Sabonis and 3 on Dudley. Obviously, trying to keep up with Patrick Ewing is taking its toll on the Blazer centers. So the man with 4 is replaced by the man with 3. Dudley back into the game. Childs challenges Anderson. Now spins away. The Knicks go back to Ewing. Not a bad idea. He hands it off. Now it's Oakley. Charles Oakley. Good night for him from the perimeter. He's got 11 points and 6 rebounds. And they are the big offensive forces, Ewing and Oakley, for the Knicks in this game. Anderson bothered by Oakley. Knicks with some perimeter dignity here in this game from Charles Oakley. Isaiah Ryder. It's a 3. And the Blazers make it 60-58. Isaiah Ryder with 12 points, 5 of 6 from the floor. This guy's had an amazing shooting percentage season considering where he takes his shots. Ewing again. An air ball grabbed by Kenny Anderson. Anderson lofts one for Ryder. He goes for another 3. Grabbed by Anderson. Nobody checked him. Clifford Robinson. Thud. Up goes Ewing. Battling is Houston and Oakley. Up the floor is Larry Johnson. And he tap dances along the baseline to save it. This game is so much more fun when things are a little bit more wide open. Houston. Hard. And a lot of contact as Dudley and Houston collide. Who's it on?
Houston showed one of the flashes of his jumping ability and athleticism on this play. Goes way in close to the basket with that long stride and almost makes a tip in off the miss and then collides with Dudley. And now at the foul line. It's a whole different picture now with Sabonis on the bench for Ewing. First of all, who's ever matched up with Dudley can cheat, can help defensively. Sabonis on the bench is always an offensive threat, big-time threat, but Dudley is not. So Ewing or Oakley can think in those terms of helping out teammates because Dudley will not look for his shots.
Dudley called for his 4th personal foul, so both Blazers centers have 4. You know, both your backup and your starter have 4. Why not put the better guy back in? You know what I mean? I mean, I know you want to save him for the end, but 62-58. Garden coming to life as this game moves in through the second half and gets closer and closer. Isaiah Ryder looked like he may have jumped into a travel. Dudley is hit by Ewing. And that'll be 3 fouls on Patrick Ewing.
Smart play by Dudley. Taking the ball to the basket. Here's a Marriott. Look at our Marriott Marquis sky cam. Dudley fouled on the looked like the pass off. New York Marriott Marquis, Broadway's biggest hit.
And here is the man who has the ignominious distinction of compiling the all-time lowest free throw percentage. From Yale, Chris Dudley, 46%. He is now 49 for 108. Jumpin' Joe Caldwell, Dale Davis of the Pacers, Wilt Chamberlain, and Larry Smith.
A lot of, you throw Wilt in there, Joe Caldwell, a lot of decades in between these names.
Joe Caldwell actually had some time in the ABA too. Knicks are called for a lane violation, so a substitute free throw for Chris Dudley.
Dudley, probably the only player in the NBA unhappy about getting another foul shot after missing one.
The Blazers will most likely lament their performance from the line tonight. Dudley 0 for the hat trick. They are now, as a team, 8 for 20 from the line tonight at the Garden. Knicks by 4, 4:40 to go in the third. Houston, Oakley, Childs. Finally, the entry pass to Larry Johnson. Johnson spins and goes face-to-face on Robinson. Rasheed jumps over. Oakley again from long range, beating the 24-second clock, and a foul. Loose ball foul on the Blazers. Charles Oakley got to the rebound. No surprise at that. Ryder called for his second personal foul. Childs got himself open. Followed his Oakley. Couldn't get the tip to drop. A little bit like his tip in the closing seconds of last night's game in Milwaukee. Very little bench usage by both coaches here in the third.
You got it, Pat. Watch out. Keep on.
Ryder hits metal. Ewing pulls it down. Childs up the floor.
So different for Portland with Sabonis on the bench as far as an offensive man to go to inside. There isn't one out there. Ewing starting out high, and Dick Pavetta calls a traveling violation on Ewing as he tries to make his way to the hoop.
Knicks commit the turnover after missing their last 5 shots. Meanwhile, Portland's shooting percentage down from 58 at halftime to 52% now. Childs just missed the steal. Anderson looks across. And they lose it out of bounds. Isaiah Ryder.
You mentioned that 58 percentage for Portland, and yet they were trailing at the half. The reason for that, Al, is that the Knicks had 15 more field goal attempts, and they were dominating the boards with 10 offensive rebounds to only 1 for Portland, so they had a lot more shot attempts. As a result, more points.
Team steal by Portland. They've committed. The Blazers have 15 turnovers now. The Knicks 13. Isaiah Ryder with the basketball. Moving in through traffic, drawing the foul, and he will go to the line.
We have a one-on-one offensive game being played at both ends now. A lot of clear outs. Defenders depending on help. There's Ryder now. With Houston waiting for him to go into a move. Just pushes that ball left and gets fouled. John Starks getting ready to come back in. One of the few players that really evokes a lot of reaction when he gets up off the bench.
Isaiah Ryder, lots of controversy involving his brief time in the NBA. Bill Blair, former Minnesota coach, said the kid's got a great personality, but even in Minnesota, your pipes can only freeze and burst so many times. He had about 9 broken pipes and about 42 flat tires as excuses for missing planes, missing practices, an unbelievable sequence. And in Portland, he's had some problems too, and his recent one, it was involving missing a team charter and then getting very, very aggressive with the airplane personnel for not giving him another private plane to get to Phoenix to join the team. He took a commercial flight the next day and then missed the team bus to the game.
Meanwhile, Ewing forces up a shot, tries to draw the foul in the process, but doesn't get it to go his way.
Clifford Robinson in tight. Going to check the clock. Meanwhile, if you're interested in more of the very interesting Isaiah Ryder story, he is a featured personality in this week's Final Four edition of Sports Illustrated. Ryder on a Storm. Interesting reading. Make up your own mind on this guy who is really playing some good basketball for the Portland Trailblazers. We've got a timeout on the floor, tied at 62.
Paul O'Neal sends one deep to right. Way back.
watching MSG Network.
We're all over it.
Feel how hot the action really gets. The high-scoring, hard-hitting New York Saints take on the Boston Blazers. It all breaks loose Saturday, 8 o'clock at the Nassau Coliseum. Great seats at a great price. Kids tickets start at just $6. Adults start at just $12. Don't be left out in the cold. Tickets are on sale now at the Nassau Coliseum box office or Ticketmaster. The New York Saints are presented by Bud Light. Grab tickets now. Saints lacrosse. Indoors. Intense. In your face.
Of all the ways you can furnish your home, one of the most beautiful ways is with Anderson feature windows and patio doors. Elegant designs bring the warmth of tradition, the comfort of nature. Ordinary furnishings create a look. Anderson windows create an experience.
Available in Nassau Suffolk Lumber. No one covers Long Island like Nassau Suffolk Lumber.
The East Hills Showroom.
Who's gonna get you the best automotive deal? It's
At East Hills, we don't want to sell you a car. We want to help you buy one.
At East Hills.
Back at MSG, on MSG, Al Troutwig for Marv Albert along with Johnny Hoops. 2:34 to go in the third, and the Knicks' 13-point lead is officially gone, tied at 62. Kenny Anderson's played a very active role in this Blazers comeback, and before tonight's game told Mike Crispino he gives the Knicks a little extra energy.
I do get up personally because I felt this year, especially, you know, when I was a free agent, they didn't give me a good look. I don't know if they, I had an up and down year with New Jersey. I went to Charlotte and picked my game back up. So I was saying to myself, maybe they took me for granted. You know, I'm from here. I thought they should have gave me a closer look, you know, in the free agent market, and they didn't. So I just, you know, I like to beat them, mainly.
Well, Kenny Anderson's dream would be to play for the Knicks here in New York. Grew up in Queens, All-American college player at Georgia Tech, and that would have been a dream. But I think the Knicks gave him a very close look, in fact, and just decided that because of his style, his not being noted as a defensive player in the style that the Knicks like to play, and perhaps his somewhat complex off-the-court life, that they felt that he would not be the big money investment that ultimately he became for Portland.
So the game is now a 1-point Knick lead. Charles Oakley, huge, powerful rebound. And now Charlie Ward. It's Ward in for Childs with Starks, Johnson, Oakley, and Ewing. Ewing takes it right at Dudley, and Dudley could be called for his 5th foul, and he is. 5 fouls on Chris Dudley. We've got 1:59 to go in the third, and P.J. Carlissimo is looking at a very big bulk disadvantage. Both his big men in foul trouble. Gary Trent getting set to return. He was very involved in things in the first half. Rasheed Wallace leaves. Oh, I'm sorry. Dudley left with 5 personal fouls. So this is going to be a smaller Blazer lineup. And I'm sure Jeff Van Gundy is taking notes.
Then you stay right there.
Well, it's up to the Knicks now to take advantage of that.
All right, so it was off. He looked at his notes. If he just wrote something down,
I think those might have been the notes from last night's game in Milwaukee when he was being guarded by Armand Gilliam, you know. Let's see, small man on Ewing. Let's go to Ewing. Yeah. But sometimes it doesn't work that way.
The Knick lead is 65-62, 1:55 to go. Kenny Anderson snaps one to Clifford Robinson. Isaiah Ryder spins on Starks, who cuts him off at the baseline. And then Oakley came over to help out. It's on Oakley, his 4th foul. So Isaiah Ryder will go to the line. You see the way Starks played him defensively? Ryder beat him to the baseline, but then Starks beat him to the spot and prevented Ryder from approaching from underneath the basket. It was well done by John Starks. And on the help out, Oakley got called for the foul. John Wallace re-enters the game. He had 8 very good minutes back in the first half. Charles Oakley is lifted by Jeff Van Gundy because of his foul total. But the Blazers have made this a game, no doubt about it, in this third quarter.
off on the second, so it's 65-63 New York. Ward tries to create some space by drawing Anderson. Now starts for Ewing. It's a one-on-one battle. Rasheed Wallace is guarding him. Ewing spins, and Wallace gets the rebound. The Knicks have missed their last 7 shots. The late third quarter drought. Rasheed Wallace all alone.
Too good a shooter to have all that room.
And once again, the Portland Trailblazers have tied this game with a lot of fight in this third quarter. 1:13 to go. The Knicks have a few things to discuss. Timeout.
Jam time!
Yeah, puts it up and in. Watch this one. He stuffed it.
Y'all ready for this?
Gets his own rebound and scores.
The teams, the games, the memories. This season, Budweiser and Starter are teaming up to create even more excitement.
That's the three to tie it. Nothing but the bottom of the net. It's good. Bang, he got it.
Bud Hoops. Get in the game wherever Bud and Bud Light are sold.
We win. We win. That's unbelievable.
Hey, Flash, save it for the game.
Trying to talk to everyone who calls you, that's hard. Choosing just the calls you want to take, that's easy. With caller ID with name from NYX. The display box shows the name and number of your incoming calls.
Beth, you want to talk to her?
No, it's not a good time, honey.
And stores the time and date, so you can see who calls when you're out. Order during NYX Connection Days and your connection's free.
Good shooting, George. Honey, did you call a chimney sweep? We don't have a chimney.
Just call 1-800-45-9X.
Well, this Tuesday, we're going to have a little excitement at the Club Bar and Grill Restaurant here at Madison Square Garden with the second Tip and Announcer Luncheon. Proceeds to benefit the Leukemia Society. For information, we'd like you to call 212-448-9206. All the guys and ladies, like Deb Kaufman, will be waiters. There's an example of a humble waiter. Marv Albert last year buttering someone's bread. Marv was under a lot of pressure to perform.
It's a sloppy job.
And he stepped up, yes.
He's got to be better than that.
Maybe he was making that for himself, though, I think he likes sloppy sandwiches himself.
I mean, no regard for the woman's fat intake.
All right, how about a little refund?
All right.
Marv was making change, I see.
It's a fun day for a good cause. Knicks haven't scored a field goal in 5:05. Starks is being shadowed by Clifford Robinson. 10 on the shot clock. Herb Williams in for Patrick Ewing. 55 in the quarter. Knicks need a hoop in a bad way, and not getting one. They've missed their last 8 shots. Now Portland has gotten 63 of their 65 points from the starters. An amazingly balanced attack. Credit Kenny Anderson, and unselfish passing by Portland with some guys who love to have the basketball. Portland hasn't led since it was 17-14. Isaiah Ryder with 1 on the 24. Beats John Starks, and the Blazers have the lead.
Ryder is 6'5" and has terrific jumping ability.
Now the Garden is uneasy. Portland was flat. The Knicks had a big lead. But here in this third quarter, the shot's not falling for New York. Charlie Ward for 3. Still they don't go. Huge rebound by Rasheed Wallace. 3 for Clifford Robinson from way out at the Garden. And the buzzer sounds. So after 3 quarters, the Blazers make their statement here in New York. Their lead when we come back. The Knicks are down 5 with 9:25 to go. Ward penetrates and throws it right into Sabonis's hands. This is amazing. Kenny Anderson penetrates and goes all the way to the glass. And so driven by this passion to beat the Knicks, who he says didn't pay enough attention to him as a free agent, Kenny Anderson is running a great show, grabbing 5 rebounds, scoring 13 points, and passing off for 7 assists. He's threatening to triple-double the Knicks here tonight. Ewing. Ward comes down with it. Starks. That won't go, and Sabonis grabs it. The frustration continues for the Knicks. They've missed 12 straight shots. Hey, it's not too much longer. It's going to be a full quarter without a field goal. A full 12 minutes. That's what the Knicks are threatening to do. It's 9:30 right now. Isaiah Rider bouncing off of Starks. Throws it out for Anderson. And he bounces it off the rim, and it's grabbed by Ewing. 8:20 to go. Starks, cross court. Wallace finally with the foul. The Knicks threatened to go 10 minutes without a field goal, and then finally they catch the Blazers, and John Wallace will go to the line.
Well, good movement by the Knicks up court. John Starks to Wallace, who was firing down court. Wallace has been a very important contributor tonight.
It was 10 minutes. It was 10:02 to be exact. 10 minutes, 2 seconds between Knick field goals. A startling turnaround in this second half at the Garden. Foul outside by Chris Childs as he was trying to keep up with the pace of Isaiah Rider. That's 4 fouls on him. Larry Johnson returns, replacing John Wallace. The Knicks are down 5 with 8:08 to go. Wallace leaves with 4 fouls, getting called there for 7 points. Childs with 4, Houston with 4, Ewing with 4, Oakley with 4. Anderson goes down low for the drive, beats Ewing, who's playing with the foul trouble, and Kenny Anderson is penetrating the Knicks to death here in the second half.
Al, Ewing has 4, but I don't think he has to have the mindset that he's in trouble. I mean, he's got to be a defender, too. He's got to step up and put up something out there. He's 7 feet. The guy, Kenny Anderson's a little guy.
Larry Johnson for Patrick Ewing. Ewing tangled up by Sabonis. That'll be 5 fouls on the Blazers center. But the way the Blazers turned it around with the small lineup, if you're the Knicks, it doesn't exactly whet your appetite to get rid of him just yet. Rasheed Wallace is back. Foul was on Anderson and not Sabonis. The foul was on Kenny Anderson. I didn't see that at all, but second on Anderson as Ewing misses the first. The Blazers 75, the Knicks 69. Kenny Anderson drives away from Charlie Ward. Now Sabonis thought about it, but Ewing jumped out at him. Wallace, quick release. He was bothered by Oakley. Saved by Rider, and Chris Childs is going to be called for the foul.
Childs was wrapped around Rider. It looked like Rider was holding Childs, but the official saw the foul in Childs' direction. See these 2 guys now, and the ball is missed. You see them entangled. And the Childs pointed in his direction, but it didn't go that way.
I misread Dave Freed's stat sheet. That was Childs' 4th personal foul, and another foul as the Blazers get the ball underneath. Second foul on Larry Johnson. John, it's almost impossible to explain in some logical way how a Knick team can go that long with 1 field goal.
One thing that has to be concerning to Jeff Van Gundy is his forwards. Charles Oakley, Larry Johnson, very quiet out there, and that's a responsibility also to some degree of the guards to get them involved.
Meanwhile, the Knick problems for the point guard position in terms of production. Charlie Ward is 0 for 2. Chris Childs is 0 for 3. That's 0 for 5.
And John Starks is on the bench.
Not having a big return game either. So the Knicks are going to have to try and find a way to get the offense from somewhere.
Starks and Houston have combined for 2 for 9.
Alley-oop from Oakley to Ewing. Beautifully done.
Correction, 2 for 9 each for Starks and Houston. Very tough for Jeff Van Gundy to make the calls that are going to get what he wants to see happen.
A lot of credit to the Blazers defensive game as Charlie Ward held Kenny Anderson. Literally held his hand.
Kenny Anderson's superiority is certainly showing here tonight in his ability to beat whoever is in front of him.
Anderson discussing strategy with Clifford Robinson. And Anderson will go to the line. What a game he is having. 7 of 12 from the floor, 5 rebounds, 15 make it 16 points, and 7 assists. Allen Houston takes off the warm-up, and Charlie Ward will leave. Turnovers beginning to pile up for the Knicks as well, and that all leads to decisions from the point and distribution and passing. 17 of them, accounting for 18 Blazer points.
Knicks have to hope that Allen Houston brings the touch now for the next almost 7 minutes of this game.
In the second half, the Blazers have outscored the Knicks 33-19 to take a 78-71 lead. Charles Oakley goes up strong, draws the foul, and that could be it for Arvydas Sabonis. P.J. Carlesimo is... Oh, that's going to be his 5th. Right, they took that foul away from him before.
Sabonis looked like he was run over by a truck the way he went down. Knicks move that ball inside. Childs attempted to get it over to Ewing, but it, fortunately for the Knicks, ended up in the hands of Oakley, who clobbers Sabonis.
Trent returns, and Sabonis is pulled from the game. P.J. Carlesimo wants to at least give himself the opportunity, the option, to use him for the late stages of the game. 6:37 to go. Oakley brings the Knicks to within 5, 78-73 as we head down the stretch in this one. Last year, the Knicks were swept by the Blazers. This year, if they were able to win, they could sweep Portland after beating them in overtime on February 26th. The Blazers are hot, full of confidence. Rasheed Wallace for a 3. Houston gets to the rebound. Houston, hesitation, drops it off to Larry Johnson. Ewing sets up in the post. He's guarded by Rasheed Wallace. Ewing goes on by him, and Wallace blocks the left-handed hook. Ewing down, but looks like he's all right. Ryder stutters, spins, whirls, turns, jumps, and hits. What a shot by Isaiah Ryder. And the Blazers lead 80-73.
That's why there's so much patience in the direction of J.R. Ryder with his off-the-court behavior, because he is a super tough player.
John, which of the 16 moves that went into that one move do you think was the one? I mean, tough. Larry Johnson traveled. Another Knick turnover. That's 18. Portland. The Knicks had 52 at halftime. They've got 73 with 5.5 to go.
Good effort by Oakley, running in front of the intended receiver there to deflect that ball out of bounds.
Two teams at opposite ends of the confidence spectrum right now. Portland feeling good. The Knicks are not.
Down hits another one. Oh, is this one high toward Utah Street?
You're watching MSG Network.
We're all over it.
Feel how hot the action really gets. The high-scoring, hard-hitting New York Saints take on the Boston Blazers. It all breaks loose Saturday, 8 o'clock at the Nassau Coliseum. Great seats at a great price. Kids tickets start at just $6. Adults start at just $12. Don't be left out in the cold. Tickets are on sale now at the Nassau Coliseum box office or Ticketmaster. The New York Saints are presented by Bud Light. Grab tickets now. Saints lacrosse. Indoors. Intense. In your face.
It's March Markdown Month at PC Richard & Son. Save money on all home appliances, electronics, and computers. Save an extra $30 off select washers and dryers, $50 off select refrigerators, $35 off select audio equipment, and $200 off select big screen TVs. Enter to win a new 1997 Hyundai Tiburon. Enter free at any PC Richard Superstore today. Hundreds of coupon savings, in-store markdowns, and one-day sale specials during March Markdown Month at PC Richard & Son. Be there.
Stop squeezing me. Stop squeezing me. You'd think I was a dime, not 100, the way these guys at Franklin Square Ford squeeze everything out of me to make deals with their customers.
You can save plenty of Ben Franklins during Franklin Square Ford's Conversion Van Sale. Buy a new conversion van now for only $18,995. That's right, only $18,995. Franklin Square Ford has a huge selection of conversion vans at super low prices.
Franklin Square Ford, 690 Hempstead Turnpike, Franklin Square.
Bob Page with an update from Denver, where the Utah Jazz have closed out the opening half on a 28-9 run. Malone to Stockton to Hornacek. He's got 12 points, and it's 59-47.
Thank you, Bob. And now with 5:29 left to go, the Knicks down by 7, as you can see. And we want you to remember, when you're having good times with good friends, to drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. Reminder from your friends at Budweiser.
Clifford Robinson complicates the Knicks' lives a little more before it gets any easier, and now the Blazers are threatened to make it a double-digit lead. It's 9 at 82-73. The Knicks with 2 field goals in over 13 minutes. And they say it was deflected by the Blazers, so the Knicks don't get called for the over and back. 7 on the 24. Ewing. He's really being bothered by Rasheed Wallace, John. Rasheed Wallace defensively on Patrick Ewing is holding him up well.
Yes, he's putting that broken arm right on Ewing's back, and it had an effect. But Ewing responded with a very forceful move while drawing the foul.
Say this about the Blazers. Their record is less than sparkling, though still 40-29 now, having won 11 of 12. They've beaten every playoff team in the Western Conference as Ewing misses the free throw. And they've beaten Miami. They've beaten Charlotte. They've beaten Detroit. They've beaten Cleveland. The only playoff teams in this league that they haven't beaten are the Knicks, which could change here, Chicago, Orlando, and Atlanta, who they'll have a chance to play on Tuesday night. And I mean, what a competitive face this team is showing here tonight at the Garden. It makes you think that some things are very possible for this team out there in the West, don't you think, John?
No question, Al. The West is going to be very confusing, actually, but it should be tremendous competitively.
Isaiah Ryder throws the ball to the floor. Dick Pavetta is going to call a technical foul, or is he not? Or a delay of game. He cut Isaiah Ryder a break. That's their second delay of game. The Knicks are going to get a free throw anyway. And Allen Houston will take it. Ryder slammed the ball to the floor, and now he's being told to cool off by Rasheed Wallace. They had a delay of game warning in the second quarter, and it comes back to bite him here in the fourth.
Is Ryder not agreeing with that call, and he loses his cool.
So I thought Dick Pavetta, for that bounce of the ball, cut Isaiah Ryder some slack. A very rare "Let's go Knicks" chant here at the Garden. That's not one you hear very often, but the Knicks need a little "Let's go." And you know what? Earlier in the season, when the Knicks had their uneasy moments with the fans and said, we don't get support, all they do is boo. Here's a night when the Knicks have been struggling big time, and they've been struggling lately. And the fans have rallied here. They've shown a bit of a different face.
This is a weekend crowd, a young crowd, too, and it's almost like a college gymnasium when you hear that kind of thing break out, which is nice for the home team.
Allen Houston to the line with the Knicks down by 7. 4:40 to go, and he misses the free throw. And now all aspects of the Knick offense are coming apart. They are 20 for 28 from the free throw line. Arvydas Sabonis comes in with his 5 personal fouls. Stacey Augmon, who had a cup of coffee in this game, leaves. Gary Trent also leaves. So it's Wallace, Sabonis, Isaiah Ryder, Clifford Robinson, and Kenny Anderson. Houston, Oakley, Childs, Johnson, and Ewing for the Knicks.
The Blazers at the foul line tonight, Al. 16 of 32.
Foul against New York. Kenny Anderson gets tangled up in Nixon elbow.
Got the sense that Kenny in his movement actually slipped and fell as opposed to being fouled, but he had 2 defenders on him, and it certainly had the look of a foul. Another look at it now. Looks like he just slips.
So Anderson at the line. 5 personal fouls on Charles Oakley now. And now they've changed that call. The foul is on Chris Childs, who has 5. Oakley has 4. So the Knicks trade players in foul trouble. 4:33 to go. Both teams are over the limit. The Blazers lead is 7, threatening to be 8.
How long has it been since Larry Johnson took a shot, Al? I know you don't have the seconds, but it seems like several minutes ago.
A long time. And it's pretty obvious. Larry Johnson has not taken any shots this half, so it's been that long at least. Johnson again doesn't shoot. Ewing on Sabonis, who's got 5 personal fouls. The fans chant for Ewing to go at him. He loses the ball out of bounds. This is unbelievable to watch.
Another turnover for the Knicks. Very critical at this time.
That's 19. Well, it's pretty obvious that in this stretch where Jeff Van Gundy has been obviously dissatisfied with trends that he has seen, this game's not going to solve any of those, regardless of what happens in the last 4 minutes. That's a 3. Ewing with the rebound. Childs trying to pull something out here for the Knicks. Goes baseline, shovels it out, stolen away by Ryder, but he lost control, and the Knicks will retain with 13 on the 24-second clock. And the Knicks call timeout. Not a lot of cohesion, nothing going right.
Half as many points in the second half as they did in the first half. In a 26-point second half.
55 seconds to go. Childs lays it off for Houston. He hits the 3. It's 86-81. There's the big shot the Knicks needed to make this last stretch interesting. But they commit the foul in the backcourt, and they don't have the foul to give. There will be shots. Clifford Robinson got tangled up with Childs and Larry Johnson, and Chris Childs has fouled out of this basketball game. A 3-point shot by Allen Houston. He's really needed one. He's 3 for 11 now in the game.
Chris Childs always looking for an explanation from the official on the call.
That was the Knicks' first field goal in 6 minutes and 17 seconds. They have put together 2 unbelievable droughts. Now let's look. Is there contact? Do the Knicks have a good reason to complain? Well, it's tough to tell if Childs' foot tripped Robinson, but it looks as though Robinson was on his way down before Childs entered the picture. Chris Childs fouls out with 2 points, 0 for 4, 6 assists. 87-81, 45.6 to go. The Knicks call timeout. In real life, there's absence of malice. You can prove that, you get off scot-free. In the NBA, absence of contact usually means you can get off scot-free, but the Blazers, in the absence of contact, have still gotten fouls called against the Knicks. Kenny Anderson just slips and falls himself.
That was against Childs. Now watch this one from this angle.
Cliffy tripped over the free throw line.
Robinson trips all by himself, and Childs asks why. Why is the call on me? So with good reason, he had something to say to the official moments ago. 2 very difficult calls against Chris Childs.
Knicks have used their final timeout. John Starks has entered the game. 40 seconds to go. The Knicks are down 6. Houston for another 3. This time he doesn't hit it, and the Knicks commit the foul. And so the Knicks parade of missed shots in this second half continues. The Knicks are now 3 for their last 20 shots over 17 minutes and 45 seconds. 3 field goals in 17 minutes and 45 seconds in this second half. What would you say if you were a coach?
Very tough. I mean, every coach goes through this. Every team goes through it, Al. There's always that period of time. Let's look at the 3-point shooting here. The Knicks 3 for 17. Blazers 4 for 18. Everybody faces this in sports, and it's something that Jeff Van Gundy has seen as an assistant, certainly, with the Knicks.
Well, the Knicks are going to have 13 games left to put this run of games in their past. Ewing is not giving up, though. The 3-pointer makes it 89-84, and Wallace is fouled. The Knicks will play the trade 3-pointers for free throws game here. 25.7 to go.
Ewing asking for a foul on that, too, the official right now.
5 on Charles Oakley.
The Knicks have got to get back on the same page, Al. That's what Jeff Van Gundy's thinking about. This team just did not pull together in the second half after a fairly impressive first half effort.
This is one of those games where the post-game report is an absolute must-watch. How will Jeff Van Gundy summarize the night? What will John Stark say? As he said, he'll talk about what went on that led to the suspension. Mike Crispino will have all the details as Charles Oakley is fouled in the backcourt. That's not what the Blazers wanted. That stops the clock. So that saves time for the Knicks. It's 90-84. The Knicks down 6 with 24.2 to go.
Well, you know the Knicks will be thinking three-point shooting, that's for sure. But right now they're 2 3-point shots away.
Now Ewing is going to say something to Oakley. Makes you wonder if the Knicks would possibly try to pull one out of their bag of tricks here, but there's a lot of time left. Oakley from the free throw line tonight, 3 of 5, making 4 of 6. Just quickly to run it down, Ewing's got 33 points and 12 rebounds. Oakley's got 14 and 9, and Allen Houston's got 13 and 3. But Houston's shot 3 of 12 here tonight. Oakley hits them both, so nothing out of the ordinary. But the Knicks will press. Anderson eludes Houston, who hits him from behind. 3 seconds elapse on the clock. The Knicks within 4 and 21.6 to go.
It is amazing, Al. It will be torturous for Jeff Van Gundy to look at the statistical breakdown of this game, as the Blazers did not shoot the ball well from the field, from the foul line particularly, and have been out-rebounded. And yet they're up at this crucial moment.
The Blazers' shooting percentage dropped 9 points from halftime. Anderson gets the free throw. Boy, has he had some second half. 7 of 13 from the floor, 7 of 9 from the line, 6 rebounds, and 21 points. Hits them both. Knicks have no timeouts. Ward up the floor with 20. With 15. Ewing to go for 2 in a row. He's fouled. That'll be 3 free throws. 3 free throws, and Sabonis is out of the game. Ewing can hit these free throws, the Knicks would be down by 3 with 12.4 to go.
Well, Charlie Ward knew he wanted to go to Ewing, who had just hit a 3-point shot, and they get what they want, the opportunity to get 3 points now.
Wallace is a 66% free throw shooter. Clifford Robinson 68%. If the Knicks pick the right guy, but they don't get the break. They needed the 3 free throws.
All right, 2 more, gentlemen. 2.
Ewing's got 2 more to go. .92-87.
One more. On the release.
Knicks will press on the inbound. 12.4, down by 4. Anderson, they put it in the hands of the right man, and Kenny Anderson will go back the other end of the floor and try to hit them both. 92-88 with 11.4 seconds to go. Some of the Knicks shooting numbers a little scary on a personal side, but from a team standpoint, wow. Anderson now with 2. He's 8 of 10 from the line. Blazers getting 23 points from Isaiah Ryder. 23 points for Kenny Anderson. Clifford Robinson had 17. Sabonis had 15. Rasheed Wallace had 13. The bench. The Blazers bench gave them 2 points tonight, John. They got 2 points off their bench, shoot 4 of 18 from three-point land, and they're going to win unless the Knicks pull this out with a miracle. 9 and 8. Houston. It's a 3. And that'll do it. The Knicks do not foul. They let it go. And an unbelievable second half of exasperation and frustration and a complete lack of offensive success for the New York Knicks.
The parents of P.J. Carlissimo, his mom Lucy, and his dad Pete, well known as an administrator, a coach at Scranton University and at Fordham, and as big-time official at the NIT for many years.
And John, over the last 18 minutes and 19 seconds, the Knicks get only 4 baskets. They shoot 4 for their last 22 and drop this one to the Portland Trailblazers at home, 94-88. So they won 2 in a row, and now in Milwaukee and at home against Portland, they've lost 2 in a row. Lots to talk about in the postgame of this one. And we will begin our postgame coverage on MSG in a moment.
Good morning.
Morning.
What can I do for you?
2 copies, please.
Yesterday, Evelyn Hartwell fulfilled a dream big enough to change her life, small enough to hold in her hand. She got the keys to her first home.
Thank you.
By the way, congratulations.
For a free guide that can help you get a home of your own, call the Fannie Mae Foundation. We're showing America
we're still capable of doing it. You know, our goal is to get the second seed and at least, you know, win our division, and we still feel that we're capable of doing that. We just have to, you know, get our act together and start winning games.
How'd the team react to John being suspended?
I had no comment on that.
Do you think the team is mentally tired at this point?
Tired. We have a long way to go. You know, our goal is to be playing until June.
Is there a chance this team was so focused on the Bulls that when you beat them and you were so up, there was almost nowhere to go but down?
No, I mean, the Bulls game is so long ago. We're just not playing well right now.
Patrick, 10 minutes without a field goal. Was everyone just trying to step up and be the one to kind of snap out of it, and nothing seemed to be falling down?
That's how long it went?
10:02.
I really don't have a reason or an explanation for that. You know, we just not, things are just not going right for us right now. We lost 2 games in a row, but we still have to feel, you know, still have to believe in ourselves and feel that we're going to snap out of this.
Patrick, do you feel there's a team out of sync offensively?
Yeah, we feel out of sync. We're not, you know, we're not executing well. We're not moving hard enough. It's just a lot of things.
Patrick, other than missed shots tonight, was that all it was, or was it a little deeper than that, the lack of offense?
You know, we missed shots, but then, you know, we just didn't execute. We're not executing well right now. And, you know, we're not executing the way that, you know, we're capable of executing.
So execution part of the problem, according to Patrick Ewing. He had 35 tonight, shot 11 of 22. But one observation, it seemed to me, every time the Knicks would dump it down to him on the low post, they started to stand around. And when they did make their cuts to the basket, Portland's defense should be credited for their aggressiveness and their active hands. They made it difficult for Patrick to dump it off to other players. And the shooting woes, again, of Allen Houston and certainly Larry Johnson. Games like this, they need to step up for the Knicks to win when they're in trouble. And tonight, Knicks offense was certainly in trouble. Also, the play of Chris Childs. No field goals for him tonight, 0 for 4. The Knicks certainly need more leadership and better playmaking from Chris in nights like this when they're having trouble scoring. 36% for the Knicks tonight, 94-88 was the final. Coming up following our post-game coverage, Bob Page from the MSG Sports Desk, the complete half-hour edition. He will tell you about the final 2 of the Final 4 in the NCAA tournament. It went to overtime in one of the regional finals. A complete wrap-up on the NBA. Also, a spring training report. Yankees and Mets in action this afternoon as the regular baseball season now is just a few days away. So all that coming up, the half-hour edition of the Coors Light MSG Sports Desk. The other issue tonight, John Starks back from a 1-game suspension. Everyone wondered how his impact would impact this game. He shot 2 of 9 in 20 minutes. His shooting was certainly off. And Starks, who did not talk to us prior to the game about the suspension, met with the media just moments ago in the Knicks locker room. Here's what he had to say.
1 game there. What was the incident? What happened?
I'm not talking about the incident.
Can you talk about the suspension you dropped in here?
Well, it's more so what I felt was right here. And, you know, he felt otherwise, you know, and that's what that.
Has it been settled? Is this going to be ongoing?
No, it's settled. You know, he suspended me for a game, and, you know, in my mind, it's over with. Now we have to move forward. We just lost a tough ball game against a team, and we got, you know, tough road ahead of us right now. So,
did it come at a bad time? You think it's
it came at a bad time, no question. You know, we lost 2 ball games. and of course it came at a bad time. But you know, that's life. You know, things do occur, and you just have to move on from it.
Did you feel like you were taking off your rhythm because you missed last night's game?
No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. You know, I just played a bad game.
John, it's like any little argument in a family, and you just move on.
Move on. You just move on. You're going to things do crop up within the team, and as a player and as a coach, you know, you have to put it behind you. And I know Jeff didn't put it behind him, and I'm man enough to put it behind me. So, you know, we just have to move forward right now.
John, how did the rest of the guys in here react to it? I mean,
they understood.
backing from them?
They understood. They understood.
Is it something that will surface in the future?
I hope not. You know, I hope not. I hope that won't be the case. You know, hopefully we can tell our differences in a different manner. But, you know.
How would you describe your relationship with Jimmy?
It's a good relationship. It's a good relationship. Like I say, within a family thing, you do have arguments. And, you know, you don't have arguments time to time. You know, you just have to tell him. You know, he did what he thought was right, and I did what I thought was right. So, you just have to move forward.
Do you think you were ready to play today?
I was ready to play. You know, I just had a bad game.
You guys went 10 minutes without scoring a field goal in the second half.
That's
you just trying.
You duck.
We're just trying too hard to pick it up, do you think? I mean, it's kind of odd that you guys would go that long without hitting a field goal.
No. You said what now?
No, I said 10 minutes without a field goal. Someone usually picks it up there. What happened? Just everyone turned their skull?
No, not really. I thought we got away from going down low. And, you know, we started setting for the jump shot. That'll do it every time, you know, when you're not putting the ball in the hole. So we just have to get back to playing hard, I think, and playing consistent. Right now, we have some troubles offensively. That's obvious out there on the court. And we just have to get back to being aggressive on both ends right now.
Sean, you and Jeff have had arguments before. Do you think this time you might have crossed the line, as Jeff said?
I don't see it as no line. I don't see a line like that. You know, it's man to man. You know, we have a discussion. He sees that I crossed the line in his eyes, and you know, that's him. Other than that, you know, I don't see no line.
Is that a difficult thing? You know, you say it's over with. Is that a difficult thing in your mind?
No, it's over with. You know, me and Jeff have many arguments before, and we didn't learn to put things behind us. You know, like I say, you're gonna have, you know, you're not gonna agree on everything, and so when you don't agree on everything, words may be said, and you know, that was the case with yesterday. So, everything was settled.
Hey, big fella, let me do this, man.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you. No sweat.
So John Starks able to smile after
in good humor,
another loss.
surprisingly.
Why was he in good humor? Could you tell?
I'm not really sure. There was such a big crowd around his locker, and he was obviously expecting all the questions. He handled them okay and just made a little joke there at the end. I think he's ready to move on.
All right, Deb Kaufman joins us from the Knicks locker room. What else did you hear? We heard from Patrick Ewing. We've heard from Jeff Van Gundy. They both said the team's in an offensive slump. Is offense the primary subject in there?
Absolutely. Talked to Chris Childs, and he's obviously the guy who should be leading the offense. He said they're thinking too much, and they're too robotic out there, and that if they just loosen up a little bit, and they're probably tight because they've lost a couple games, and that's one of the reasons why they're so robotic out there. The other thing he said is defenses are just obviously keying on Patrick Ewing, and they need to have a second option. They need to be able to go somewhere else, and it's just not coming. Larry Johnson didn't take a shot until the very end of the second half. He went, 15 minutes or so without even putting up a field goal. So attempt. And Allen Houston is cold as ice. He can't buy a basket since he's had that stomach problem. So they need to have somewhere else to go. And with Chris Childs and Charlie Ward, neither of them handling the ball spectacularly and setting anybody up so terrifically, without Patrick, they're in trouble.
What did Larry Johnson say? Did you get a chance to talk to him about the offense and the fact he didn't get a shot for 10, 12 minutes?
Actually, we were about to and had to run in here. So we didn't hear from
Okay, off that
yet.
subject. What about Allen Houston?
I'll tell you why. He was with Stacey Ogbutt, I guess his old UNLV teammate, and kibitzing over in the corner. And he didn't seem too upset, actually, about the loss. They were having a little reunion there, and so we didn't get a chance to talk to him.
Allen Houston has been in a shooting slump. It's been well documented. Certainly the Knicks could use his three-point shooting to get this offense going. What was he talking about back there?
Allen Houston?
Yes.
Well, I talked to him, and I did mention to him that it seemed like he had taken a couple of the misses that he had were quick shots. And was that maybe something he was just trying to do to break out of the slump he's been in? And he bristled at that, did not like the question, said not at all, that if he sees an open shot, he's going to take it. He's always looking for the open look, and that they must have been open or he wouldn't have taken it just because they're quick. But that's a big problem for the Knicks. If he takes that quick shot or Chris Childs takes that quick shot and there's nobody to rebound and the defense is caught on the other end and they were scored on a couple of times. So those quick shots don't help.
What else did you hear? Was Oakley talking after this one? I know he has choice words whenever things don't go the Knicks way.
He didn't want to comment about the John Starks thing. Also, I'm sure you heard from Patrick. He said no comment on the incident. The one thing that was interesting, Jeff Van Gundy said, almost pleased that they have veteran leadership on the team at this time. It's time for them to step up. And I think Charles Oakley's a big part of that in the locker room. You know, he doesn't like to see this kind of thing from Starks. John admitted it was a bad time of the year for this to happen. He doesn't think, you know, he hopes it doesn't happen again. Although when he was asked, do you think it'll happen again, I would have rather him said no, but he said, I hope not.
I hope not.
That wasn't such a resounding denial. But
did we get any insight from listening to Starks? Now, we just listened to what he said. It sounded to me like he was telling Jeff Van Gundy how to coach the team. There was a difference of opinion on something going on within the team. Did you get any more insight in talking to him?
Well, here's what I understand happened. We know that he missed a treatment, I guess, for his back after the Denver game or in Denver. And he just recently was fined, and I think it showed up on his paycheck on Thursday.
For missing a treatment?
Right.
He was upset.
He was upset that he was fined, and he just, I guess, got fined because I think it just came out of his paycheck. So Friday,
he goes to practice Friday.
Friday went to practice and argued about it with Van Gundy. It was I think it was about the we think it was about the fine, about the missing the treatment, which is where you heard Van Gundy saying it was about preparation.
Right.
We differed in preparation. In other words, he should have been more prepared for the game by getting the treatment. Starks was mad. They had the big argument in front of players, including new players and young players, that Van Gundy thought he needed to do something in order to, you know, show that he's not an assistant anymore that can argue with John. He's now the head coach, and there has to be rules. And we're under the impression that that's what it was.
So Starks gets hit in the wallet. He's upset, comes to practice on Friday, lets Jeff Van Gundy know about it, probably in the wrong format, in front of the team rather than behind closed doors.
Right, and he went on to say tonight that they have a good relationship. They have somewhat of a close relationship, I think, which is where, you know, sometimes arguments can happen, but he crossed the line, as Jeff Van Gundy said, and I think that's what happened.
So there's the explanation of the famous cross the line quote that we heard from Jeff Van Gundy following the suspension of John Starks. Thanks to Deb Kaufman for joining us from the MSG right here in our studios, of course, and the Knicks locker room. The Knicks beaten 94-88. They're now 32-4 this year when having a lead at halftime, so it doesn't happen very often. They led by 52-45 in the opening 24 minutes. Coming up on Wednesday, this is a huge game for the Knicks. Pistons trailing them in the Eastern standings. They've got to hold them off to maintain some home court advantage. The MCS Cannon Knicks game night begins at 7:30 on Wednesday as the Pistons invade Madison Square Garden to take on the Knicks. That should be interesting, and so should this. The full half-hour edition of the Coors Light MSG Sports Desk with Bob Page. The Final Four is set. One of them went into overtime. And Arizona, the alma mater of our Deb Kaufman, is going to be there in Indianapolis, much to her delight. The NBA wrap and spring training as well. Jeff Van Gundy thought he had something going with the Knicks leading by 13 in the first half. They could not hold off Portland and their young stars, including Isaiah, or call him JR. Call him anything you want, but when Ryder is on the mark, there are troubles. He was a mismatch for John Starks tonight. J.R. Ryder was special. Chris Childs, the donut, 0 for 4 shooting-wise, as the Knicks guards 5 for 28 in the 6-point defeat. And Portland is the hottest team in the NBA, and that is the hottest coach, P.J. Carlissimo. Our director, Bobby Lewis, our producer, Howie Singer. The executive producer of MSG Sports, Mike McCarthy. This is Mike Crispino. Good night from New York.
Guests receive the American Express gift check. Think of it as a universal certificate that can be used to buy just about anything, just about anywhere. It is the more thoughtful way to give the gift of money. American Express gift checks are available where American Express Travelers checks are sold. And some guests receive a watch from the Fendi Timepiece Collection featuring Fendi Epica. Fine Swiss craftsmanship and Italian design that is unrivaled in concept, style, and quality. Available at selected Macy's.